Okay, so today is the big grieving day where we're gonna go into the RP I talked about as far as having to be drunk the whole time and things like that. I don't know whether that should only last one episode or not, because basically last time we had our first real pet death. Now, as far as RP and story, we've had three pets die. One was when we were a kid. This is like our backstory. Our father, who was also a hunter, went out to hunt with it, or yeah, they went out to hunt with it and they accidentally shot and killed it with their bow. So we vowed at that point never to use a bow or a gun, so we don't use range. That's sort of the in-story reasoning for the hard mode, why we can only use melee stuff. And then, so basically, they killed it, so we were traumatized by that. I never really said what it was exactly, like what type of pet, but we also have the permanent condition, so like we lost the raptor because we starved it out, so that would be the second one. Right, that's why I said we're the hunter with clipped wings, right? Like, because we choose not to use a bow or a gun in protest of that moment. Like, oh, this is the damage that they can cause. So therefore, because we lost our pet, so we're traumatized by that. So there's a psychological element to each of these. Then the raptor we tamed in obviously Senjin Isle, Echo Isles, and then we went to Terragard Keep, and we were like in over our head. Our reach exceeded our grasp as a hunter, and so basically we felt that we were ready for a pet, even our trainers egging us on, but we didn't realize that we were not quite mature and ready enough for it yet because we didn't even know how to feed it. Now that's obviously in game, like you don't learn it till you go to Orgrimmar, but I also didn't know that. That was kind of a cool moment of maturation where we just had to let it go because we were starving it, so it just leaves our service. So I count that as a death still. Basically, we're so traumatized by that event that we would never have a raptor again. So then finally we get over that. We go all the way to Trisfall, right, to sort of look death right in the eye, to sort of face the loss of our pet, right? That was sort of the grieving rationale for that one. That lasted several episodes of us being in Trisfall and Silverpine, so that was a good justification to go there. And so we finally get over that loss, and we have love at first bite in Silverpine Forest with the warg, right? So we tamed that. We had it for a little bit. We never even named it. We left it named as Wolf just because it's like we didn't want to have this attachment, and now you see why. Like, oh, we liked it, we were best buds with it, all that kind of stuff, but we didn't want to give it like a special name. We would have named it like after our mother or something like that. So we didn't want to get that attached out of fear of loss, which we experienced here. So then last time the pet died in that goblin encampment up by like right near Orgrimmar. I forget what it's called. It's not the Sludge Fen, but it's the one next to it where the camouflage thing is. And so basically the point with that one is that we were kind of turned the wrong way. I like to do that in permanent context too, like always learn a lesson from your failures, but now we can learn our lesson from our pet's failure. We basically died twice, so the run should be over because I always call it like our other half. So therefore, we lost one other half in the raptor and we lost another in the warg. And of course the one as a kid wasn't really my fault, but that was like our pet too, our beloved pet as a kid that our dad also frivolously used to try to hunt with and stuff like that. It was all sort of in the family. It feels kind of lonely without that. We don't have to worry about feeding it though, basically. That reminds us of feeding our pet all the time. Sort of the loving bond of giving somebody food, but he's just kind of a servant boy. So yeah, this kind of counts as sleeping in the Barrens too, or I mean in the Crossroads. Or I guess I could separate them, but what we're gonna have a problem with here is, yeah, basically it was that goblin encampment there, Boulder Load Mine or whatever, so we were turned the wrong way. We were fighting somebody here, and the pet was fighting like there, and then somebody came from that way, so I should have been looking that way, and somebody like patted in, so I escaped there with a bomb and stuff. I heard you like bombs. That's like a good one-liner, that you goblins like bombs. But then they ended up killing the pet, and we didn't even get to give it a proper burial because it was so chaotic. We just had to get out of there, escape with our lives, tail between our legs. And so here's the problem that we're going to run into with both rest aspect, as far as like we have to end off every episode in a different like house or little section of the map. So we've rested like 4 times in the Crossroads without even, or in the Barrens, without even being in the Crossroads or Camp Tarajo. So we rested once in Ratchet, we rested once there, like the Forwatch Post, we rested once by there's like a tent there, and now we rested here. And so, oh, and there's another one too, like a 5th one by the house. That shows you we're going like very step by step, slow pace. But In other words, I'm going to run out of places like that to go to because of how long the Barrens is going to take. And here's sort of the rule with respect to doing quests and how I move on from zone to zone. There always has to be some sort of story explanation, let's say, but also this is the one that's going to hurt me a lot. The camouflage, I'm pretty sure, based on the quest text and everything, is in that mine. Now, I could barely do that even with the pet, and I obviously failed and the pet died. So how the heck am I supposed to do this by myself then? I'll have to get to like level 25 or whatever, which there's no rule even against doing that. Like, we can do it later, but I can't leave the Barrens if there's any green quests remaining. So that was the rule that I stated very early on. I have to complete the area that I'm in up to only having yellow, orange, and red quests left. Now, that doesn't mean I won't still do the yellow quest, but at least then, at some point, you're allowed to leave. But you cannot leave any green quests hanging, so I have to do these at least. And I guess I could even do that now. Like, oh, if I just do the 2 green ones, I'll get myself killed trying to do the camouflage thing, but I should at least pay some respect to the people who let me stay there. I don't know what rationalization they would have for letting me stay there. Oh, because I agreed to do this quest, which I forgot what it even was. This guard's just been eating there the whole time. This maybe makes us reminded of our pet too. That's what the goblins will go do to it since we left its corpse behind. They'll desecrate it too, just to stick it to us. Cooking the same way we desecrated their bombs or how we used them against them, they took offense to that. Cooking is a lifelong pursuit, and I see we share the same passion, but not really particularly well. Not really in the mood to deal with meat right now because we have no use for it. Whack enough dig rats yet. I don't know what that actually is. It almost sounds like a critter, which we've sort of made a rule. If we were a druid too, we would make the same one. Like, we try not to kill critters just out of respect, but these ones we kind of feel like we're putting out of their misery, so maybe it's not so bad.
Something special.
So I don't think there's anything here really. The Tauren just have such a chill vibe to them. Like, they don't even care about anything going on. You know, they're a peace-loving race, like the Night Elves and whatnot. They almost feel like disappointingly just like bland almost, right? They were just happy living in Mulgore. They got pushed back by the Centaur. Like, they've really got nothing big going on in the lore at the outset. Even dwarves felt kind of like that, but the difference with dwarves is just over time they become so significant because of their interest in archaeology and history and stuff. So they start to sort of push forward certain aspects of the story, like Ulduar and Uldaman and stuff like that. So everybody has their own little niche. So what was I even going to do? I wanted to check out the crossroads, and like I said, the alcoholism is going to come into play because that's the RP scenario I talked about. If we ever lose a pet, which, again, that wasn't for the raptor because it technically didn't die, but still for the sake of it. So we can never get a wolf again. We can never get a raptor again. We can never get whatever the pet was we had as a kid, which I'll say it could be like a cat, like one of those, you know, Durotar tigers that we see in the Echo Isles. That would make sense. It would have to be something kind of local that our dad was using. And so the point is that you have to be careful of these groups. Like, I'll throw a bomb or something and aggro like the whole pack of Kodos or whatever. There was something else we saw last time. So these almost seem low level to us. So yeah, I said that if our pet dies at some point in the playthrough, that we have to drink the whole episode after or just period after until we get over it. And that's going to put a weight on our money, and that's also going to make maybe the gameplay more difficult. Like, we just have to deal with that. That's a good use of a mechanic in the game. Like, oh, why is alcohol there? My first drunk stream, even though it's not me, it's the character. We could get all these and just give ourselves something to do. So where didn't I go? I explored Farwatch Post. I explored Ratchet, right? So we're good with all these. I feel like I missed stuff along the way, too. So maybe I'll backtrack, and I'm just being, like, super completionist, but this zone is overwhelming. This is the biggest zone in the game.
What can I help you with?
There's nothing really special there, so let's pick up all these quests. A lot of them are going to be lower level for me anyway. Can I teach you how to turn found cloth into cloth armor? You have to remember, I'm still using this level 5 green axe, so basically if I get the ability to dual wield, that could be significant, and if I get like maybe a better thing to drop, that would be a game changer. But until then, I'm surprised even that I've been doing as well as this. I also have the rule, obviously, that I don't get rested experience because of the slow-paced nature of this. You can't even say, now I have to be careful not to pick up anything that's going to be involving going to like the Wailing Caverns, even if it does say low level. The times we live in are as fickle as the shifting winds. It is important to remember what is true and lasting in this world and to preserve that. Everything else is a waste. And we do have some sort of bond, you know, between the hunters and the druids' respect for nature. I did say I was going to go first person, like when we're talking to people. That's a good idea to do, actually. I don't necessarily have to do that. And I even interrupted him. The Forgotten Pools, long ago, the Barrens was a lush place, teeming with life. But war and cataclysm, oh, we're not there yet, dude. Don't spoil. Raged across the land, scorching it and leaving it a dry husk. Such is the way of things, and it saddened my heart. Yeah, have you seen what they did to Desolus? I still don't remember exactly what caused that, but whatever happened in Moradon. But within the last few years, new oases have formed in the Barrens, and life stirs. And deep down, the druid sense of power leaking its way to the surface. We must find the source, travel to the Forgotten Pools northwest of the crossroads, search its waters for a source of power, return here. Now, I hope that that doesn't mean that you have to go in the Wailing Cavern somehow, even though it is a great quest. Like, yeah, it'll be a level 13 elite, which we did kill an elite, like a level 11 elite when we were like level 17 or whatever, but we had the pet with us too, obviously. So this will be kind of nice to have. This might be one of the best things you can get, but money has been more of an issue here maybe than you would expect. That's some unknown place that I wouldn't even know what to call it. Never seen that before. This is going to be Mankirk. This is obviously some the whole Hearthstone thing. You got to find his wife or whatever. I don't know all these quests by heart because I obviously played Alliance, but I probably did make some low-level alts and do this. I mean, I had that Orc Hunter who I got to like level 25. That's where I always tell that SFK story. In fact, that was my highest level first character. Like, I made a whole bunch. I like level 17 Undead Warrior. Then I made that. Then I made, obviously, eventually the Human Mage. And then I got to level 60 on that. That was my only level 60 up until like, or that was my only max level character until Wrath. I came to the crossroads from the south seeking help, but I only find cowards who turn their backs on me. Yeah, if you came from the south, you're coming from Thousand Needles or Camp Tarajo, which I don't know how a level 15 managed to do that. He wants these clown level 10s and 12s in the crossroads to carry him. Only turn their backs on me, even though mighty Thork insults me so. Even the mighty Thork insults me so. He is a good leader, but his dismissal of my plea causes me greater anger. Claims my rage makes me hasty, but if you're a warrior, it's all for the better. That it clouds my judgment, but I will not rest until I have vengeance, consumed by hatred. Perhaps you know of the pain of uncertainty, the pain of loss. Perhaps not, but know this. I stand here every day. You know what? We can't even handle this. We have to drink away our sorrows, which I don't know who is actually going to sell that. We might have to go back to Orgrimmar, but even in Orgrimmar, I still don't know who would sell it. So this will be a whole puzzle for today. Find out who sells liquor, because I have to do that for the sake of my RP. I remember seeing it somewhere, but now I don't know. It was maybe somewhere in the undead areas. There must be somebody who has it. It wouldn't really make sense for it to be here, but basically I just want to pick up all these quests and then like I cannot contain my sorrow, so I must do something about it. You are allowed to use this. My Wind Riders are trained quickly to fly through the hot Baron's air. So there's a cool distinction with this, like just immersively, you could say, oh, you're not allowed to use flight paths because of the nature of this playthrough, but you actually are, because it's not like fast travel. You actually have to sit there and wait, like the Deep Run Tram, even though I played a mage and like I would use portals and stuff all the time. So that kind of destroys that illusion a little bit, but you actually have to sit here and still go through the time of watching it, which if you're flying across the continent, that's always like it will still take a while, but that might be the fastest way for you to do it, assuming you're not a mage or you don't have access to a mage, or even if you do, you know, there were only portals to the major cities, so you would still have to fly to Silithus or Tanaris or wherever you got to go. So this is still a good immersive element. So this would be our first time using it, and we feel kind of sad even doing this because it feels like, you know, we have a pet in a different sense. Anything to do with animals is going to depress us. We're in the best zone for that with like 1 million beasts in the Barrens. I should almost just walk my way back, which means I'll pretty much never get to do anything in the crossroads. Don't fly while drunk. But no, we'll have to face this, and I don't know how long it lasts and stuff. This is a mechanic that I pretty much underutilized a lot in actually playing the game. Just, it seems kind of quieter. It's a mechanic that I sort of would have underutilized. Like, I didn't really ever try liquor. Like, how much do you need to stay drunk? How long does it keep you drunk? things like that. Yeah, we rested in this one. See, at least that's far enough away. That one seems almost too close to the crossroads. It almost shouldn't count. Because it's not like, oh, there's 3 houses next to each other. You get to sleep in each one once. Like, no. The crossroads is one time. Some random house on the road is one time. So it kind of gives value to those. Like, you have to rest at, like, a campfire. You have to rest in one of these random buildings around the world, which there are a lot of. Like, even in Turistfall, I kind of showed that. Like, wow, we had, like, 2-3 episodes even there. One in Brill, one, like, in a tent somewhere, which even that was kind of uncertain whether I should be allowed to rest in a tent like that, but... The only rested experience we really get is from walking around and derping around in town during the session, or from just logging out, period. Not in a rested area, but just, you know, I only play once a week, so over the course of a week, you're getting at like 4 or 5 bars anyway. So we got to find somebody who sells liquor, and I don't know if there even is anybody there. You would think the inn might, but a lot of the time they don't. Or you would think even Ratchet would have some, but I don't think I could find any there. Yeah, I do kind of want to walk my way back, though. Even in our drunken state. This is kind of a heavy burden to have, but this is what I mean. We might get set back on our spells and stuff. We might have to sell all these random things we've collected just to... Like, why am I even keeping light feathers? Maybe you need them for something to do with engineering, but... There must be some in this one, because that guy Gammon looks always wasted. Where is he getting his liquor from? Thorin's Leather and Steel Armory. If it's not here, I'm actually not even sure. Like, this guy has a mug. Oh, yeah, here we go. So all you have to do is go back to Orgrimmar for it. We don't have to get a very, you know, a fairly weak alcoholic beverage, a typical alcoholic beverage. This is going to be crazy, though. Yeah, we're going to have to stay on it. Like the old noggin fogger addiction that I always wanted to be that skeleton because it just looks so cool, right? That I would have like 1 million in my inventory. I can't really afford it, so I have to settle for the cheap stuff. It can be weak, but we can just spam it. Like, why does it matter how weak it is? Dalaran Noir. How ironic. They would need to drink some of that to... Wait, where did he go? To cope with the fact... This will actually be on our hotbar, too. To cope with the fact that they lost Dalaran, but then they do that retcon BS, like... Where did it go? Oh, 7. So how many can you stack? I genuinely don't know how long it would last even, but it's not too expensive, so let's get, like, 3 stacks of it. And if we need more, we'll come back, because I genuinely can't... You know, figure out what I'm... The fact that it's weak means that it might end up just being a headache, though, and taking up too much space. Let's actually test how it works, and then we can refill our stock. We just spent like 30 silver of our precious silver on this. Go ahead and put it here. Like, this is part of our core rotation. These are the moments that you get. You feel tipsy, but it's supposed to be weak, dude. I guess we're a lightweight. We've never drank before. And now this is what turns us into an alcoholic because we lost our pet. I want to see it start to blur and really show that we're drunk. And I'll get it back up to that mark too. Like, let's really kind of overdo it here. Or what if this kills you? Like, oh, you drink too much of it and you actually die. That would be an interesting way to end a hardcore run. Let's maybe do like 10 of them, or when does it start to hit you? I think 10 would be fair. And then we'll completely clean out our money, and you might think, oh, this is stupid, and you won't be able to learn spells and stuff. But it's only fitting because, yeah, what if I actually die from this? That would be unbelievable. I don't entirely know how this works. Like, if you get a debuff, or, like, what the limit of it is. Or maybe this one's so weak that it doesn't matter how much you drink. It can only get you but so drunk. I don't even notice anything changing. You feel tipsy, or it starts to happen, I guess, over time, or we're just gonna have to spam it. Clever use of game mechanics to tell a compelling story, at least. Okay, let's go. I almost want to get a stronger one because that didn't seem really sufficient, but the only reason why we don't buy more is not because we can't afford it. We have a little silver copper left, but because we can't... I don't know how often I should drink that, because we want to kind of stay in this. This is the true hard mode experience. You have to be drunk the whole time. There's no, like, good indication of whether that's going to happen or not, though. Like, when it's going to run out or what's happening. We can always come back, but I don't even have money to really afford it. So that's the analogy of what we're going for. Like, this is the toll that it would take on you, but that's the toll of your loss. So if I hadn't failed that, I wouldn't have had to worry about this. This is a good, organic, in-game, story-relevant punishment for losing the pet. Not only do you not have the pet and you're more at risk now and it'll be harder to do stuff, and you won't be able to ever get a wolf again, and you have to reset your progress when you do get a pet, all of that. But also the simple fact that I feel like it's not blurry enough, though. It's also the simple fact that you have to incur this monetary penalty. You have to deal with this gameplay inconvenience. Everything is sort of tied together. It's not just there for the sake of it. This is like my old school RP self. Like, you make something out of perfect time for it to crash, so our alcoholism runs out, or drunkenness, but it doesn't. As long as it lasts a decent amount of time, as long as we have that shaky cam and stuff, makes the gameplay more difficult. We'll miss all our skill shots. But no, what I was saying was, that's almost how I used to do RP back in the day, and anything, was like I would let it come more from the gameplay, right? You're not forcing it to happen, but whatever dynamically happens, like, you know, even as good of a player as you might be, like, oh, you know, you didn't expect the pet to die, but it happened. That's just the nature of gaming, and we still escape with our own life. So now we have to change what we're doing and sort of adjust to it. I like the blurriness. That's kind of what I was going for as far as the difficulty, but it does seem like we're gonna run out. Like, we don't have to be completely wasted the whole time, but there should be some element that, like, we're really bothered by this and we're trying to get over it. So this will be like the drunk episode. It doesn't mean that I won't still have to keep doing this next time, because I very well might have to. Or now we have like some suicidal notion, like we might play more risky, like we want to take revenge on the camouflage, lost to a camouflage, like how we literally got clowned by this. I almost want to try it, but we kind of know better. I wasn't using my trap much. I wasn't really paying attention, looking off sides. I was looking the wrong way. I got kind of overconfident, maybe. So it's a green quest, but you saw what kind of madness ensued there. I need either better gear, or now, obviously, without the pet, it would be absolutely ridiculous. So we come in there all drunk, trying to redeem it. But that's a very bad idea, and I shouldn't do it, and I'm not going to do it. We could barely kill one of those because they're they're our own level. Like, a level 19, which you might not think is a big deal, but we're restricting our gear, obviously, is only what you get from vendors and drops, which is not very good. We're restricting the fact that you can't use rain stuff, and now we're even restricted in the fact that we can't use the pet. Yeah, rub it in our face too. That's not a player, that's an NPC just to show us the path of a hunter. And he might be going to even the same exact place. Have to be a little bit careful. We have that pet attack backer, which is no longer relevant. So the idea with that is you're using Hunter's Mark to tell the pet what to attack, not to actually increase your bow damage and whatnot. So even a level 13 is getting us to like 75% health. Lets out a shriek. That kind of terrifies us too. So we've been traumatized by raptors twice actually in this series. Once when we lose it because we're starving it out unintentionally, and once because we basically they called like 3 together and that got us in trouble. A little shaky cam. I'd want it to be a little more blurry, but I guess I can't really control it, or quite frankly I'm not going to be able to afford it, because if we keep spamming every 5 seconds. So what areas of this part did I not explore? We didn't explore the sludge fan, but I don't really feel too confident that we need to do that yet. And there was even that raptor that kind of warned us, the Hack the Leaper or whatever. He's like a 19 elite. So just by seeing him, it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't mess with this area. So it's kind of like a good faith nature on your side as a hunter. He's not doing that to threaten us that he's in our way. He's kind of giving us subliminal advice like, oh, don't go there. You won't make it back, hunter. And we'll come back later. So that is kind of a good kindred spirits moment. So there's nothing else there. I just want to kind of explore this part thoroughly. So that's just the sludge fen. That's obviously where the pet died. And so this was fine. This was fine. So we swept the coast. Now I want to see all these areas inside. Now there was that raptor thing up the cliff here when I went looking for Dreadmist Peak. I just didn't read the quest text properly and so forth. And we don't even have room actually in our inventory. As long as the camera's shaking, I'll kind of still count that. But every like once in a while, we should just go for the chug there. I won't put any rule against like using it while moving and stuff. So here we go, dude. Come up with a lot of RP lines as sort of my titles, like hunters have no time to grieve. The only hold they dig is for their next trap. I don't know if I'll use it on YouTube, so that's why I sometimes say them outright. Yeah, we did the little coastline trek, or not the coast, but the riverside trek to do that, to get to Ratchet. So now the places that I'm curious about are like, what is up there? I won't mess with the sludge fen. There's some raptors there. So we'll check this area. This has like quill borers, and then we'll go to the crossroads and start to do actually some of these quests. It doesn't matter the order in which I do them, but like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you'd be like, oh, you're over leveled, but again, I can't leave the area until I do every single at least green or gray quest, and on top of that, you're only going to have so many places to rest at, so I don't know, like those little houses that we have to end off on, so it creates kind of a problem, and then I'll have to probably still come back. So you know you're going to have Camp Taurajo and probably a couple other things on the way, but other than that, we've already exhausted most of them, and some of it was kind of unfair because, you know, I would come in and then go back out just to go to Orgrimmar, so I was using it just as a pit stop to rest at. I wasn't actually doing anything here that episode. So it actually changes the direction, like what you're moving, which could get you in trouble. We've seen a lot of elites. We've seen a lot of rare spawns because obviously we sort of have the server to ourselves. You should almost make a point to kill all those sickly gazelles because you are sort of taking mercy on them. It's a mercy killing. Just the same way that we're getting out our frustration, like, from our own loss, but it's not really even related to that. But what is up here? This is not the sludge fen. This will just be something else altogether. And presumably a lot of the quests will send me to places like this, but I don't know if one will actually send me up to where those raptors were, and I don't know what was even up there, period. Of course, the music is classic. Yeah, see, this is what can get you in trouble if there's like a horde of the Kodos, even if they're low levels. You see a lot of those in Mulgore, too. The one thing we gotta go find is the rake. Not that that'll be my next pet. In fact, categorically, I guess it couldn't be because we already said that's like some rare spawn in Mulgore. It couldn't be because I said the tiger is my... I don't know what this area even is. The tiger was like what we lost as a kid, so that would still count within the same context. You should always wing clip just for the sake of it. So we are not only the hunter with clipped wings because we can't use range or anything, but we also are very, very aggrieved by a lot of circumstances, most of which were arguably not even our fault, but I mean, I guess we blame ourselves, like we're such a bad hunter. It kind of goes twofold, right? It feeds into itself, where you say, whoops, trying to use my booze, don't waste a bandage, too drunk to make my decisions properly. It feeds into itself, where like your whole life you were made fun of because you were a no good hunter because you didn't even use a bow. What kind of a hunter is that? Then we finally earn our stripes and gain some respect for ourselves from others and even, you know, just in our own mind. But then we're in a case where we lose the pet immediately. So we're finally feeling good about ourselves, but then we overestimate, we don't know how to feed it. We haven't learned the art of that or how to respect it. So then we lose it immediately. And now we get one again finally and think we finally earned our stripes, redeemed ourselves. We kept good care of it. We told it some stories by the campfire, by the fireplace in Silverpine. All these kind of things happen. And then you still end up losing it anyway. So now you feel really worthless. And my drunkenness does not adequately express that. This area seems completely like there'd be no quest that ever takes you here. Maybe there's some sort of weird class quest. Yeah, the hyenas, I don't know whether the hyenas should count as a dog, like as a wolf. They're really not. Or even like whether the cat should count as a tiger. Right, like if they're in the same family like that. I mean, I won't do the rake anyway, or I might not even do anything. That's the whole beauty of it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess my drunkenness wore off a bit, which we can't have that. It doesn't really give you a proper, like, debuff for anything. Like, once you get a certain amount of it, it should. Either, like, you've reached the maximum level of drunkenness so you just can't drink anymore, or it could become potentially fatal. I don't know what I'm sure that's not the case, but it's not even doing the shaky cam anymore. We got to at least have that. What, I'm gonna have to go back every 5 minutes if this just isn't gonna be good enough? Just drinking during combat. That's cheating. I'm not allowed to eat or drink during combat, but this is a different kind. Or the blurriness doesn't get quite as bad as I thought. But like when you're standing in place fighting stuff, it almost doesn't even matter. Like it would affect certain classes maybe more than others if you're constantly jumping around. You feel drunk. Whoa. I don't really look drunk though. Like where's the visual feedback? Okay, it's tilting my character a little bit that way. Yeah, it's actually gameplay relevant. You feel tipsy, you feel drunk, whoa. You want to get it to a nice stable point where it stays there for a bit. Imagine if this somehow does lead to our death, but it would almost be deserved. So what the heck is this part of the map? Like, usually they don't have too many big spots like this where you just don't get anything from it. Yeah, you should almost just keep pushing it, but the problem is it keeps running out. Level 10? What is the level 10 doing here? Go back to Duratar, dude. And yeah, we have some rules with respect to the pet too. Like, oh, he can't fight other wolves, or we at least choose not to do that. We also don't want to feed him wolf meat and encourage cannibalism. I mean, that's just good for selling purposes. That might buy a couple of our things of alcohol. I never understood why people like beer, like in real life, because it's like you have to drink so much of it to get to the same point, so why even bother? Like, if you're gonna do it, I mean, don't do it at all. I'm not encouraging any sort of behavior, but if you're gonna do it, you may as well just do it in a more potent way, or just don't even bother. So now this would be basically, but he's over here. Why is he here now? He was all the way in front of the sludge fen, so he must pat there. So it really was a moment that was meant to be, where he warned me of my fate, and he was a completely different level then too. I swear he was 19. Or, oh, is that part of the, oh shit, I forgot about that. It's part of the drunkenness that these might be level 15s and level 17s. Good way to tell. Wait, are we just hallucinating that he's there? Now he's level 15. The more drunk we get, the lower he gets. Let's see how far he goes. But basically, I obviously can't kill him, and I'm kind of curious to see what's down this path, but he could be, again, like, he could be like level 19. It just says that because we're drunk, which means he might aggro pretty easily too. Or what, does it make us like somehow substantially weaker? Like, why are we having such a hard time killing this? Or no, again, it just makes it seem that way because he's a higher level than what it's showing here. We're not getting that shaky cam thing, or maybe just because I'm not moving that much. So once again, he might be warning me, don't go that way. You'll get in trouble. And this time he gives us a reminder of the whole level thing. We remember how strong he looked before, so why does he look so weak now? Oh, it's because we're drunk and our judgment is encumbered, so he's warning us again, don't go over there. We're getting in-game advice from the spirits of nature. So there's really nothing over here. There's really no incentive to go there. So let's go to the crossroads. I'll check out this area on the way, and then we'll just do quests from the crossroads, whatever they are, as many as I can. We have to be careful, though, because even the camouflage, yeah, we were, like, drunk before, because you'd have to be drunk to believe that's a green quest when everything there is yellow and stuff. Or maybe it is somewhere else, and I just don't even know. Venture Company Research Site. Set up a small research facility far to the north of here, southwest of the sludge fen. Maybe that wasn't even it. Southwest. Yeah, my pet might have died for nothing. I thought I was doing the camouflage quest, but I went to Boulder Load Mine. But I probably had a different quest for there anyway. This thing to the southwest, which would be... It wouldn't be that, then. So let's just see what we got. Yeah, as if we need to encumber our vision even more by using the map. I just have this urge to explore like every inch and nook and cranny, because even as much as I played this game over the years, I don't know the horde area super well, and I don't know even every little thing there is to find, but people are so jaded by just like borrowed knowledge is everything. Like, because everything's been solved by, like, you know, there are guides on stuff and everybody knows everything collectively, that doesn't mean that you individually know it or that you would be able to figure it out, or that's half the joy of gaming. So I find that very annoying that people use that not to diminish their own experience because they can do whatever they want, right? Who cares? But they'll use it to diminish the game itself. So if you're having a conversation like, oh, best games of all time, then, you know, WoW comes up and people say, oh, well, it's so easy though, or oh, it's just nostalgia and this and that. Meanwhile, Ocarina of Time is pretty easy too, or, you know, it doesn't mean that it's a bad game, or that doesn't count against it, but we're also not allowed to use Mongoose Bite like on the next target. So for example, if I decide to if I get dodge or whatever in the previous battle, and then I just kill it and don't use Mongoose Bite, and I still have the charge left over, I can't use it. So presumably these are like level... Man, I could get in trouble because of that too, but our whole mindset is like this, just totally warped and disturbed by these events. So that was the house where we saw the little kid. That might shock us back to reality, that we'll go see him and he'll see how drunk we are and be like, what's wrong with you? What happened? But we lost part of ourselves that day. You could go up and go on a suicide mission with trying to deal with those raptors, which I mistakenly just went there in the context of, you know, trying to find the Demon Stone area. Yeah, you just have to be weary. Like, they could be 3 or 4 levels difference from what you see, possibly more. See, all these mechanics that are so cool. Like, I forgot that even existed as a mechanic, because I guess I never really got drunk, or I never really worried about it. So be careful. There's no hostile pack coming after you. Oh, this man, I can't believe it. I genuinely thought I was doing that. We'll take great pleasure in taking revenge on the goddamn goblins, even while we're drunk. Like a scene from a story in which like a superhero is really down and out, and they just go pick on some criminals to make themselves feel better. Or like that scene in Code Geass where Lelouch like makes a royal noble do like push-ups and stuff. He's not doing that for any real plan that he has. He's just doing it because he's upset about something. Right? So you're almost doing it like you're evil, but it's just like a temporary phase that you're going through. I thought that was the camouflage thing in that area, and of course you can't touch the sludge fan, despite the Leaper's greatest warnings against us. We venture code Peon, so at most they're like level 13. I mean, this is a 10 to 20 area, and so therefore, you know, most of the stuff isn't really going to be that overwhelming anyway, but it'd be kind of nice just to know. You can't tell from that sound whether it's a hyena or a Knoll, am I right? I'm just trash talking both of them right next to each other. Yeah, who made that sound? Oh shit, he's gonna get mad. Don't come after. Wait, what the fuck? Running a little bit too fast for me to keep up with. I might have to use a potion here. Gotta watch out for that. Gotta kill this guy. Okay, dude. Again, part of it could be just me under... Or see, even that Mongoose Bite is questionable. Because... that Mongoose Bite is questionable for the simple fact that... What the hell is going on? Like, I know he could be a higher level than what this is showing, but that doesn't mean that it should be like this. You should be able to finish off, but this is weird, dude. Fighting 2 things at once is just not going to work because we no longer have our pet to lean on. That's the only time I didn't feel bad about using the pet, like, to tank. Ordinarily, we're not really supposed to do that. We would rather die than let our pet die, but at that moment, we had no choice either. I was just trying to get him out of there too, but... he sort of takes one for the team for a little bit to let me get out, and then he can get out after. Because he is more tanky than us anyway. He has more armor, he has more health. Can't aggro 2 of these together, and that guy just bolted away at the end. The summer here is the camouflage, and we'll take great pleasure in getting rid of it because of what they just put us through. Wouldn't it have been a lot easier area to go through now instead of fighting level 17s and stuff right next to Orgrimmar? Just the structure of the zone almost seems unfair because of that. Like, we'll even throw a bomb at it just to really stick it to them. You got to use Wing Clip, and you got to pull them away. Do it like a single-player dungeon experience, because this can be a little bit taxing here. Yeah, we got sort of baited by how many goblin encampments they have here, and thought that was the one. That's why I can't really mock the fact that it's green. This one should even be gray, but actually... it's just because we're so drunk that You feel drunk, you feel tipsy. That's from like the same one though, because I haven't drank any in a while, have I? This is like 30 silver worth of it, and it barely lasts any time at all. How am I supposed to do this in the context of an episode where the whole thing is supposed to be like that? I can't wait till I get counterattacked, so all these parries will actually reward me with something, which is going to be at least 10%. In fact, how it can be less than 10% is beyond me, because you have 5% from the talent and then presumably like 5% base. That guy on the hill is making a little bit nervous. You don't have to kill every single one of them, but I almost want to. We need to farm out money for our for our addiction now. I think maybe one episode time for it would be justified, but we can maybe wean ourselves off of it. It's just like a new mechanic that you have to deal with. And quite frankly, when I run out, so almost make it easy mode. Like we can't commit to it only but so much. Or that almost would dictate the time of the session, but we've already drank 30 of it. I could be overdoing it, but I can't really tell because I just want to always be in this state. There's so many of them behind there, man. If I aggro too many things together, it could be trouble. He's just another peon. Level 1 critter. He gets a front row seat of this epic combat. Yeah, I got to make sure I use wing clip a little better now because it's more relevant, because you're not going to finish them off as quick, or I mean, just in general, you should use it anyway. Imagine going as a melee hunter, but I mean, I even had that notion to spam wing clip for you know, sort of spammable DPS, because you can't spam any other move like that. But okay, we need to, yeah, so drink some oil. Fuck. Usually you wouldn't think mana's an issue that way, but they do sort of blend in with the grass a bit, like where they're so short. Either them or gnomes would have the same advantage. Actually unfair cheating because of the environment. Like what's that in GoldenEye where, oh shit, I heard you goblins like bombs. Oh, we actually did get him with it. It almost didn't look like I would. We have to be careful. I can always run away. I can always use the racial. When they run away, they seem to like jet super far. You feel tipsy, that means it's kind of running out. Maybe I should only do it when it says that. That'll be a good barometer of it. We're learning how to be a drunk. Why do they go so fast, man? Maybe it just feels like that because I'm all woozy, but warped leather pants, actually better armor value, but that's not our priority. Anything that's green is going to be good. We got a couple things actually from a shop like in Silver Pine that was selling some greens. This will be the camouflage thing, which that guy didn't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. I didn't even know where it was. A variety of buttons, levers, and blinking lights are somewhat erratically arrayed on the face of the control console. A small gauge indicates that the apparatus is currently operating in within optimal levels, and indicates the control valves 1 through 3 are currently open. There is a small keyhole set in the lower right side of the control panel. The 3 control valves are currently open. Are you going to have to do it like a puzzle where you have to read the thing in Booty Bay, Gadgets, and Everlook? The 3 control valves are currently open. The various readings on the control panel lead you to presume that they must be shut off before the apparatus can be shut off. Close the fuel control valve, the regulator valve, and the main control valve, and use the console again. Does that mean they'll be in all different places, or what? Or wait, I might fail because of that. Oh, here. This will at least force you to fight them around there. But I am normally inclined to do that anyway, but now I don't feel so sure. What a stupid mistake, though. Yeah, I try to fight stuff my own level for once, and look what it does to me. Get away from there, get away from there. Yeah, imagine if they all aggro around it. Punish you for not clearing them out sooner. I keep sort of letting them aggro stuff when they run away that I shouldn't do. Yeah, see, this guy seems adequately slow, but that's only because he's wing clipped. Like, normally they'll sort of limp their way away anyway if you know, when you get them low. But I guess goblins aren't like that, or somehow it's just not happening. I'm going to check out what's in that hut, too. I always like to get some sort of checkpoint with each of these areas. But now it's going to take so long to kill these that they'll respawn by the time I'm done with it. By which I mean, like, get a chest or something of the sort. Mongoose Bite does actually very poor damage because it doesn't, like, add it to your melee damage and stuff, so it's not as good as I actually thought it would be. Or did they spawn in because I did that and I didn't even notice them? I just ghosted them because I'm too high of a level, so they sort of ignored me. Every time I activate one of those, they'll spawn to. I mean, it's all just right around there. I was wondering, like, it'll attach to some other part of the thing, like in there you have to go to. Kind of a little bit tough to do back to back. I could try to kill both of these, but I mean, you're probably gonna have to anyway. I hear you. Goblins like bombs. Now, how long is that actually going to go on for is the big question. Try to kill this guy as quickly as possible. The only problem with this situation is the fact that when you use the racial, it's better when they... Just please don't aggro a third one now. It's better when you're low on health, but you don't want to wait till that point either. I don't know how worth it that really is to use it at that stage. Yeah, that shovel reminds me that we never gave the guy a proper burial. It's like they're sticking it to us. They've heard about our story. Try to use that, but it's difficult to do. Miss. Mitigation chains can get you killed. Whether it be, you know, that or like getting crit a couple times in a row. There's so many things that can go wrong that are just sort of unpredictable. We did that. We have 2 more things to shut off. So this kind of forces me to do what I avoided to do in a very specific way. Like ordinarily, you could probably just shut that off and you'd be good to go. But, you know, here it forces you to actually go around the whole thing and kill everything. So, which is normally my instinct to do. Keyboard turning and clicking for the win. Although I guess I never really click abilities. But hey, I mean, I'm an undefeated hardcore permadeath player, and I did it before even the add-on existed, and just, you know, as a more normal permadeath run, but I still had a lot of these roles. Like, basically, you just want to make it as much as a solo experience as possible. Now, will those 2 spawn is the question, and if they do, it's okay. Or maybe they take a second. It almost seemed like that's what happened. Oh, shit. We should still hit the other one like that. But it immediately ends. I mean, I have a potion if I really need it. I guess when you're fighting multiple things together, it's okay. Mongoose Bite is almost the type of thing Batman would do, right? He gets a dodge, and then he gets a second wind to be able to hit them harder or something. He uses the momentum of dodging to go back and hit them. It's almost what a melee hunter feels like sometimes. It's like Batman. You're setting up your traps and little gadgets and stuff and just making it really... Okay, thankfully they went the other way. So even this quest, which I was mocking like, oh, it's so much easier than the other one, is very time-consuming too. But yeah, that one was way out of our league just because they were actually level 17s and stuff, which these could be level 15s, but... We hit that one. We got rid of those 2. So the next time we do that one, it will also aggro a couple more things. Which again, think about how dangerous that would be if you weren't over leveled, even if by only a little bit. This actually makes it seem a lot easier than what it is. Like, oh, it's only a level 12, which based on the amount of experience it gives me, you'll be able to tell that it's not. But one thing I'm not really doing is using my traps at all. Yeah, see, 124 from a level 12. I'm cheating. I'm hacking the game. So go ahead and use like a linen bandage or get rid of this clown first. There's somebody on the other side too, which I don't like to leave stuff like that to chance, especially if I try to run away here, but you're going to get constant respawns because of how incredibly slow of an experience this really is, so I don't have a choice. This is a bad decision to make, and the reason why is because you're going to aggro those 2, and then you're going to, even if there's nothing there, that's fine. You would aggro those 2, and then you would be running out into other things. That's always what you have to worry about. You have to have a clear path to escape, whether you think you're really going to need to or not. I guess nothing really seemed to aggro there, though, at all. Yeah, these guys just bolt away in a comical fashion. Maybe it just looks like that because they're shorter or something, but I swear the human NPCs and stuff never do that. Like the Defias, they'll go all like RP walk mode, sort of, to try to get away. Level 12, or yeah, what if it shows an elite as a non-elite? I guess we just tested that theory of drunkenness. Like, the hardest thing is getting used to it when you're not used to it, let's say. But Not to say you should get overconfident if you are used to it. This is sort of some sort of skill training too. Like try to hunt blindfolded or try to, do something you're normally accustomed to in some other uncomfortable way to become better at it naturally. You play chess blindfolded. But basically, it's a case where we just saw, because Attack the Leaper or whatever, that it doesn't do that. Like, let's just see what's even over here. That he was still elite. Like, it could show an elite as a rare spawn, rare spawn as an elite. It could do so many things. I'm kind of spamming these today, but it almost only seems fair. I don't know why the other one breaks it so fast, though. How long does it do it for? I guess it's only for 1 second. It just feels better maybe than what it is because you can use it as like an interrupt or any other circumstance. Yeah, it's a good time to put those to use. We didn't really need them as much before, although it did aid in my escape still from the boulder load mine incident. You might question why I even clicked that, but it's because I have such rules when it comes to my inventory space that you sort of have to do it that. Oh shit! I have sort of rules when it comes to that where okay. See, at least you have a clear path to escape now. So I can't really loot everything, so I can't really shift loot. I just want to see what's in the house and stuff. It'll be something that starts the quest. Those are my favorite kind of quest designs. Like, you'll discover something dynamically out in the wild, and then that'll start a quest and bring you back to town, instead of the opposite, right? Skyrim does that a lot. You discover an item that starts a quest out in your normal adventures if you're just playing it like an open world game, instead of, oh, you have to go to town and pick everything up, which obviously there's a lot of that too, but kind of more in the mindset of skipping stuff. But Tinker Sniggles, I wonder if anything else would aggro in doing that. Almost like it shouldn't, and that's almost like cheating. We can't use range. Or wait, that didn't even do anything. These bombs do share the cooldown. Right, like even if you were trying to spam them. For some reason I thought I could spam them on Fizzle and that would really help me. That does give you a good barometer of your level of drunkenness. We barely even have any potions left. We're in a very bad spot in a lot of ways. Stop him from running away. Our axe skill is pretty good because we've been using this one for a little while. This is what can really get you in trouble, the way they dart away like that. Oh, man. Fuck. Because you really just don't even want to mess with that when there's two of them together like that. And because of how much I've been spamming the bombs, I'm even going to run out. I kind of still want to finish this guy off, but... trying to get revenge on the goblins for what they did to me last time. That is almost a cruel, dark way to look at this, doing the camouflage thing. But also just doing the correct one. I must have been drunk then, too. Just to not know that... I haven't been reading the quest text, I guess, very faithfully. But he is at least level 14. I'd be satisfied just taking him out. We could just use like a regular bomb on him. I was trying to pull the guy from inside there, but maybe the house somehow absorbed the blow from it. The only thing I messed up was the simple fact that I let him run away too far. So you got to wing clip him the whole time. And we're actually running out of mana a lot, which is surprising. Yeah, like I left Silverpine halfway through, but it's because I got to that same checkpoint position that basically I'm talking about. Yeah, they just want to say no and leave very, very abruptly. I feel like that's not really the most common thing to do. Right? Like they typically walk away slower, not because you have a slow on them, but just because... Okay, boss battle time, 106. See if there's anything in here we can interact with. Read like an RP book or something for all our trouble. This could be arguably a bad spot to even put him at, but... Heard you like to tinker, so let's finish you off with a bomb. How about that? Or I barely can even do it. I wanted to RP it like we were... yeah, we could actually use some of that, just because we're having trouble with our mana, surprisingly. Like, the pet was doing pretty good work for us, so now we get to measure exactly how good that work is compared to what we're doing, just because, yeah, I don't need no stinking milk. I'm already quenching my thirst more than adequately. So I think that's good for this area. That was totally unnecessary. So all we get for our trouble is a barrel of milk, basically. Battered oh, they hide it though. Look at that. Goblins are smart and stingy. Like, he wouldn't put it where the tinker guy is in case they come to kill him. I was about to leave too. We just gotta keep the wing clip on. Get that darn chest that probably I won't even be able to pick up much stuff from because I don't even have anything. Any room. I have to be careful. So we did the camouflage epic quest. Let's see what else we have. Or I almost just wanted to go to the crossroads. I'm trying to stay drunk, but I'm kind of running out of it. So I did the best I could to do that. At least we had to dump like basically all our money into it. I got to use those text prompts to really show you the value of it. Just like, like whether you're feeling tipsy or you're feeling this or that. That's a good psychological tendency, like in real life too. If you keep yourself so busy, you don't have time to be sad or depressed because you're working 12 hours a day, you're doing whatever you're doing, or even if you're playing games or whatever, like just stay active. That's sometimes the best thing. Like, oh, people who are working 2 jobs and 12-hour shifts and this and that, they don't have time to be depressed about little things because they're too busy working. So, not saying that that should be the healthiest way to deal with it, but they don't have the luxury to be upset about first world problems or whatever it is, that minor things that people get bothered by. Camouflage. Oh, we have to do it again too. I was literally just about to leave here anyway. Pattern, that could be good for selling purposes. That we wouldn't pick up even if we'll get like a blue BOE bow, but I won't even pick it up or I won't even sell it just because my character believes so strongly in not supporting the idea of any sort of ranged weapon. There is that little hut up here by Ashenvale, but again, we're going to run into a lot of trouble, or I might even have to go into Ashenvale and rest somewhere there. It's going to start to get tricky. That's the thing I'm most worried about because of how short these episodes are and because of how big of a deal the Barrens is. Is it even drunk? I can't even tell sometimes. Okay, let's finish off the camouflage. We'll blow it up with a bomb just for RP purposes too, which I kind of almost inadvertently did as I was going to it, or it'll spawn like some crazy elite guy too. Yeah, I was clowning on Paladin so hard and people got mad, but like, it's objectively true though. Like, oh, a melee hunter has more abilities and interesting playstyle. Just melee hunters alone. Never mind the pet, never mind range, never mind anything else, traps and other utility. Just your melee abilities alone have more depth than paladins. But that's not very hard to achieve because paladins suck. One of the worst classes in gaming history. Yes, they're good at healing. Yes, they were valuable in raids and stuff, but it's just not. Nobody enjoys playing a hunter or playing a paladin in like the leveling experience. And you could say, oh, well, a lot of classes just spam the same abilities over and over, right, for the most part, especially in raids, but at least you have the option to do something else. As a paladin, you don't have that option, right? You just do it, and that's it. You know, I wish there was some way to actually verify this a little better. Aside from the shaking, just the fact that the levels are off, but I wouldn't know what their levels are, right, naturally anyway. There's no way to actually correct it, basically. So now Hunter's Mark becomes even more useless than it already was before because... And our crit chance might seem jacked out, but it's only like, whatever, 5%. But the reason why it's so good is because you get a 20% boost on Raptor Strike and stuff, so therefore... Or it won't even show up, like, to me because I'm so much over-leveled from it, but that's... I don't know actually how it would show up on that. Okay, I'm a little bit lower than I like. Yeah, look at that. It does a whopping 19 because it has nothing to do with weapon damage. I don't really see why I would even dual wield, but I do have a weapon that's maybe, like, better than this. It's just there's no point doing it now because I don't have a second one, or I couldn't even use it like that. So we do get our proper revenge on the goblins, but I was thinking the only way I might get that is by going to the same place. So I guess I resolved the issue of the camouflage because I thought I would have to go there, and oh no, it's a green quest. I was even mocking that idea, but it actually wasn't an issue. The lights indicating the 3 control valves dim as they are shut off. Green lights slowly fade into yellow as the switch controlling the apparatus is now movable. With the valves closed, it can be turned off. With the apparatus deactivated, the control panel can be opened up and the sample files removed from the console. Everything else in place, all that is left is to acquire the key to unlock the console. Get the key from... Oh, God. This is where my explorative nature sometimes gets me in trouble. I did it already, so now I'd have to wait for the respawn, and just the fact that I have to do it again. Because I guess I thought I was already done with that quest. As much as I say you shouldn't look stuff up, you should also be a little more attentive and actually read what it's saying, because I made that mistake like 3 times. Once where I tried to go to the Raptor Haven instead of Dreadmist Peak. I went to the wrong mountain, and it does tell you in the quest text. One time where I went to the Boulder Lode Mine when I was supposed to go here, and then even now I'm about ready to leave, and then I still have to do more, so... That shows you the fun puzzle-solving nature of this game, that there's a lot of depth to it in terms of... And I can't believe... I guess we'll have to settle for whatever we can afford. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. I want it to be more like a fixed criteria, like... Oh, man. That's the scariest moment of my life, when they go darting away like that. Okay, that guy didn't aggro. Not giving me any of those text prompts anymore, like... Whether they're, whether I'm... Okay, you feel drunk. The point is I'm doing my best to make a point of it. I just can't always guarantee 100% of the time that I will be. And I'm more worried than anything about running out of it, but I'll have to go burn my money again to continue my adventures. That meat reminds us of our pet and all the stuff we fed it. But the old saying of the hunter is you should never trust meat that you don't get yourself. So whether you loot it off an NPC, like a humanoid, or whether you... buy it from a shop, like a butcher or something, you still shouldn't trust it. You should only trust what you hunt and skin and gut yourself. Right, so your pet deserves the best that you deliver it to it with your bare hands, because you know exactly where it's been and how it was prepared and stuff like that. Make like a compilation at the end of the series of like 1,000,000 different quotes to do with hunters. That's just because I'm too lazy, I guess, to wait. You feel drunk. You feel tipsy basically just means, or actually, I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be the lesser level, or drunk is first and then it becomes tipsy, or... Yeah, every quest we're going to have to spend like 30 silver that I don't even have just to fund our alcoholism. Okay, let's finish off this Tinkerer dude that we already took care of. There's nobody else that should aggro. Kind of undercuts the whole experience a little bit too. That knoll is kind of scaring me from outside. Buildings and stuff can sometimes throw off your aggro range capabilities. Yeah, that's a little bit lame. I didn't think you'd even have to kill him, but I guess it's only natural that you should expect to have to do that. The biggest thing we have to do is wing clip him at some point here. I guess it throws me off a little bit that takes up mana too. You don't really think of it. Oh, God. You don't really think of it like that. And I keep thinking that, oh, I'm in a mongoose bite when I see dodge, but I see it from their perspective, like, let's just clear out my inventory by going all in with this. We literally, I don't know actually what to do, because I won't have enough money to even get more of this. So what am I supposed to do? It's a tough condition to uphold. I possibly drank maybe too much at the beginning, but I wanted to be like fully wasted the whole time. You don't have the luxury of money where you can really guarantee that. It doesn't seem like it lasts really long enough. Or I could buy the one that's a bit stronger, but it'll probably even out in terms of the cost, right? Like, it'll last longer, but it'll just conserve you bag space. You could play like a whole playthrough like this too. We'll do like a 1 to 60 drunk dwarf. We have to be drunk the whole time. Also permadeath, also some other hard... That's an interesting format. You have to be drunk 100% of the time and literally be... I'd have... There you'd have to have like a main to help you get the money, but... Yeah, this is more what I wanted, but it won't last long enough. We get some kind of clown respawns right on our head. Okay, let's blow this thing and go home. is what I would say to my pet if it was still alive. The console lights were dimmed and the gauges and dials all read 0 positions, everything idling. Turning the key in the lock, the control console unlocks. A red light at the top of the console turns off and the power drains from the terminal. Now, is that because I did this that he came after me, or he just seemed like a respawn? How much flavor text do you have from this thing? Pulling open the console, pulling open the face of the control console reveals a dense jumble. Man. I can't even read my quest text flavor RP stuff in peace. Okay, can I? This has like 50 different text boxes associated with it. I didn't think it would be this elaborate. Reveals a dense jumble of wires, tubing, and other strange mechanical objects, most of which seem to serve no purpose, no practical purpose. Pushing them aside, yeah, our brain isn't big enough to comprehend what the goblins and gnomes are up to. Pushing them aside and digging deeper in the console, you find the camouflage. A tug removes it from its housing. He never gave us a picture of it, did he? Like, how do we even know what it looks like? He didn't even know what it was. Mace, engineer's hammer. I should keep just for the sake of it because I'm an engineer, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to just have to basically sell. Let's go back. I basically didn't use my trap at all there. So that would also lead back to the sludge fen, which Hack the Leaper has given me a warning basically 2 times. Just don't go over there. He's sort of guarding it, but not with any ill intent. Just, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about the sleeping situation. There's going to be so much shit I have to do here. I just can't do long enough episodes for this. This has been deliberately sort of like that, like, oh, just once a week, and it's not, you know, like 1 hour, 2 hour long episodes, but now we're in a pickle because that's what that format forced me to do. You have to sleep in a different house every time. So there's a house up here. Like, let's try to do this raptor quest since we're here, even though these will be like much higher level 10. Wait, we're almost in Ashenvale though. How are you level 10? There were like level 17 raptors or something, and that would allow me to complete one of these quests. Hang on. So that's by Ratchet, so we can go and do that. The Forgotten Pools we can do, explore the waters of... I mean, I wanted to accept all the rest of the quests in the Crossroads, but I can't even fit them, I guess. So it's appropriate that I should be doing this. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of raptors here. Where does it say that? Raptor horns. Right, so let's see what level these actually are, which won't be entirely accurate, and each one is going to take like 10 minutes to kill. I thought they were just here, but... Yeah, see, you could rest in that one, but... All these should kind of count as one, or I don't know how to exactly assess that. Like, what is this? It's a decrepit burned down house anyway. Isn't this where like the burning blade was? Or it's not even a house. Yeah, this is the burning blade that kind of tips you off, but it's on the backside that this is their Dreadmist Peak. I swear I didn't even know that area was there. Like, it just looks like, oh, it's a random mountain from the bottom. So how do I expect that it's going to turn into this epic burning blade encounter? Or maybe it's not. I don't even know what it is. This is an abandoned house. That almost seems like a fitting place to be. Sometimes it looks like you're one-handing the weapon, but when you go to do certain kind of animations... Cracked bill, light feather, strider meat, doesn't really matter. Some of this stuff I should almost try to save and cook, but... Oh yeah, this is the burning blade, and they just are kind of... Yeah, the plain striders were up there too. You start climbing up the mountain, and you see a bunch of these, and it's like, oh, this isn't a burning blade outpost. This is just a bunch of random animals. But then, as you go up, so somehow they don't mind the plain striders being there, or they're just like a facade to throw you off. These are a little bit high level, and it might be higher than what you... Yeah, this must be what we're looking for. They might be a little higher than you would even expect because of the drunken aspect. So let's try to do this raptor one at least. And then what other ones do we have? That would be back in Ratchet. The fact that these try to run away in fear is kind of comical too. I mean... Yeah, cry out for help too, like the stupid raptors do. Where like they can aggro 3 at once if that's really what it's going to be. And actually that's exactly what's going to happen here. Now my drunken quota is a little bit lacking. I will actually have to go back and get more if I want to keep playing, because this is the only way to do it. Or maybe we'll cut it short and take my chances. I'm allowed to go to other zones to rest, right? But I'm not allowed to go to, which I'm actually going to have to do because, again, you're never going to get anywhere doing it like this. Yeah, good lucky crit because I was getting a little bit low myself. Raptor horns here. Deep moss spider eggs. So where are they? This your cannon. Now this is in a totally different. Yeah, just go to the Stone Talon Mountains. The Guns of Northwatch is like a little further down there, right? So you go from like the Bloodsail people. I keep calling them Bloodsail Buccaneers, which they're not. Speak with Ziz Physics and Winter Crag. I don't know what this Burning Blade insignia is there for. There's actually not that many. This isn't here. This isn't there. So we have the Guns of Northwatch. Miner's Fortune is where? Enforcers, Wharf Master, Boulder, Load Mine, Sludge Fan. Okay, so let's focus on the green for now. So we'll do that, but I'll try to do the Raptor Horns. And a lot of this I can't even do. So it's... Oh, let's try to do the Forgotten Pools, though, too. Yeah, let's try to get the Raptor Horns. Where did the other one go? There were two of them right here. That's one thing that this game doesn't really have is enemies fighting other enemies. Like, you don't typically see that. But, like, yeah, why shouldn't this guy be hunting the Planestrider? They're not all at peace with each other. That's sometimes the comical thing. Like, a wolf will come attack you while you're fighting a Defias henchman. And it's like, why isn't he attacking the Defias guy instead? Or even once you die, then they just walk away like, oh, mission accomplished. Yeah, this is the one maybe I was thinking about. So those should be two different sections. That is one area. This is one area. You've really got to milk it because I'm having a lot of trouble. That's my biggest concern about the run. It's not... Oh, I keep thinking these are passive too. Or whatever, not hostile. Defensive. Only critters are passive. Yeah, these should be hostile too then. Let's get a zebra as our next pet. So the point is that... yeah, my biggest concern about the run isn't even dying. It's running out of places to rest because of how incredibly slow-paced and stupid I am. Okay, so I'm assuming these are the ones that drop it because he even said in like the northern part of the thing. I'm kind of spamming those bombs, but I can't think of much better time to use them. I do have a potion, but I almost don't trust this encounter. Doesn't seem like a great idea. Look how big they are. Like, these are much more badass than the one I had anyway. Oh yeah, I gotta keep remembering to use that. Which is almost always gonna be out because our dodge chance is so exceptional because of aspect of the monkey or whatever, but it's actually not that great. Like, considering we're not gonna get much from agility. But I guess you do get the not really adequately drunk enough either. This feels like a shame. Like, I'm not going to make it so much of a stickler, but the point is, or we are still wobbling a little bit. The point is we have to commit a lot to it. Empty keg. You're going to make us think of it even here. We're obsessed. Where is it? It said empty keg. Where? Oh, here. I mean, you already know it's empty, so why would you try to steal from him? He's going to attack me. The item begins a quest. Oh, my God. This can sometimes become difficult because, or you know what, let's try to use that one for a little bit because it'll basically be the same thing. You just won't get those top end high damage crits. So we can dual wield with that just to make room for our intrepid desire to always have something to do with liquor right now. Ken's empty keg. I have to go fill it up for him, but then he better give me some in response. How fitting of a quest this would be. A small placard on one of the ends of the keg says, Chen Storm Stout, may your spirits be raised and always raise your spirits. Find someone who knows about Chen's empty keg. That is clearly our #1 priority right now. We want to get in on that action.
And honor.
We could sell something here that would be fitting that, you know, it has to be something he might actually use. 1 agility, is there something really good, but I don't have enough for it. This is where our economy system really hurts from this. So engineering 75, that's just a mechanical squirrel. That might be the only pet we have going forward. So like that we're not going to use, obviously. So, you know, like what? I actually forget what you're even able to use. You obviously can use axes. You can use at least 2-handed swords. I don't know if you can even use 1-handed swords. I've actually forgotten, and it's not like I ever played a hunter. The point is this is 7.5. I'd hate to sell one of these and have it come back and be useful. 2-hand. 9.1 one hand, which is amazing. Wait, that'd be an offhand. +4 attack power. So, I mean, if there was any debate, that one would just be better, period. And there's nothing else really that makes sense that he would buy anyway. I'm trying to do it like Bethesda style, where you have to tell stuff that they might actually use. This would be a fitting place to stop, but I mean to rest there, but it doesn't have to be right now. Right? I at least want the raptor horns. We can do the raptor horns, and then what's the other one? The forgotten pools. And it'll be a while before we do anything to do with the barons. I think we're completely unintoxicated too. Or yeah, I gotta use the trap more. I don't know why I keep avoiding that. We'll use that. We'll use the racial. I could be making a big mistake though, because what I didn't account for was... Oh, wow. Not only is he a reasonably high level, but it's also the fact that we had to use like everything in our pocket for that one. It's also the simple fact that we're using the one-handed weapon now instead, which we can almost dual wield, but just the level of some of these is making me uncomfortable, which you might think it was that way before. I just didn't know because I couldn't. We literally have to. This is a hard mode moment. You have to use the one-handed axe instead of the two-hander to be able to dual wield the fish, because you're not allowed to dump anything from your inventory because there's a very specific criteria for doing that. It's a very interesting problem to have. So where are all the raptors? Aren't they supposed to be like right here? We'll get to level 20 at least. That is an interesting dynamic, though. I do like that. Having to find these places in the world, it gives them sort of appreciation that they otherwise wouldn't have, right? Imagine if you actually had to do that. You're only allowed to log out. You can log out anywhere you want, but people typically log out in inns and stuff for rest. But you're only allowed to log out in a house somewhere that's also safe and not surrounded by enemies. This is kind of dangerous, man. And I hate wasting the wool cloth and stuff, which we might need for engineering. Do I even have a wool stack? I have like 2. But I've like spam used these because I'm too lazy to eat or anything. So, I mean, these are even hard to kill. I think they might be up there, but... We got 1 intact raptor horn. There's another one. He's level 17, but I saw him before. So that almost seems like it would go into Ashenvale, but it doesn't. So what is that? Yeah, all the forces of nature are aligned against me because of the simple fact that, you know, none of these animals are going to fight each other. I might have to use the potion for this one, or the big mistake I keep making is I'm not using my trap every fight. This almost made it seem too easy, this guy, but this weapon's a little bit faster. But damage-wise, you always want the two-hander just for the top-end capability of it. It's possible some of the other ones dropped it and I just didn't notice. I thought maybe it was some kind of loose scrap item. So what is this? We're going to end up just walking into some sort of night elf encampment that I forgot about. With some elites who just one-shot us. Yeah, this looks like you're going into another zone, which is going to be obviously Stone Talon. But it's not like super clear that it is. This is just the dry hills. I mean, I have no quest to do with Harpies, so there's really no reason to do that. I'm trying to do this very systematically where I explore each of these areas, but like there's a temptation to do it, but I just have to remember. Like the Barrens is truly one of the most remarkable things in this game. Like it's so big, there's so much to do there. The only thing that sort of undercuts it from being that impressive is, again, the fact that it's shared between 3 races, whereas the Alliance doesn't have a zone quite like that because it's only shared between 2 races, like Loch Madan between gnomes and dwarves, which is kind of an underwhelming zone given that. This one they went above and beyond, but it's almost because, oh, the Horde area is unfinished, Kalimdor's unfinished, as people would say. They focus more on Alliance and stuff. That even a subliminal symbol of that is this, like, I'm a Horde player, why does it have a griffin there? It should have a wyvern there, right? Like the ones that you use, assuming you have to be that exact with it, but yeah, this imagery doesn't fit with a Horde player. So I don't know where these raptors actually are, but this is still the same kind. Why was it like a level 15 before? But I guess we already know the answer to that. Because you have to be careful not to be in this mode, because then you won't know whether something aggro sometimes. Or you have to rely on like the floating combat text and stuff. I don't like being in between these other 2 like this. Master Trapper, where we have to do it in very oh shit, low melee type of range. He got all confused too, the raptor. Your enemy won't know what you're doing if even you don't know what you're doing. The old art of war, art of being a hunter. Okay, that was a disaster. I mean, they're so spread thin between these stupid plane striders. They're just in the way. He should at least do me a favor by taking care of these for his lunch, and then we can finish him off. This little high main dude is coming at me. Oh my god. Yeah, this is like the dream zone for a hunter, or more like a nightmare zone. A dream in terms of finding stuff to tame because of all your pets that you could get, all the variety, but also because you have to kill so many beasts, it can be a little bit tricky too. You'll see me spam that a lot. The wing clip just like gets a little bit extra damage in if nothing else is up. And if you have the mana to spare, which a lot of the time here I actually don't, that only takes up 50. It's kind of hard to understand why. I keep running out of it. Or what keeps confusing me is, yeah, the racial. I'll try to do the racial and then something will go wrong with it. You go ahead and do this. Parry, dodge, mitigation chain incoming. Gotta watch out for the raptor. Only 5 that drop, and it doesn't seem like the drop rate is even that low, not to jinx it, but it seems like the spawn rate is low, or maybe I'm not in exactly the right place to fight them, but it's basically just northern barrens is what you're supposed to consider. We do have that little, you ask and you receive. There's not enough of them, by the way. I mean, you obviously cannot win that fight. But see, imagine if you had to run into a place now that would have only enemies in it, then you're screwed. Like if there's no clear direction to go. Yeah, imagine playing this like just an open world game. Like this is one of the best open world games of all time. The only problem with that is the fact that, you know, there is so much level distinction that you can't really go wherever you want, whenever you want. Not saying open worlds don't have that too, but not in such a harsh extent. So if you took away the level aspect of it, which they sort of tried to do in the modern game, like, oh, scaling and stuff, everything will sort of just scale to you, then you have a case where it's very valuable. This is really like the hunter with clip wings. You're not even using a two-handed weapon. You don't have a pet. You don't have a ranged weapon. You don't have anything. And yet you're still doing so well. It almost makes the game look really easy. Could be famous last words. Talk trash, get punished moment. Okay, Plane Strider, we got to get revenge on this clown who keeps clowning us. At the very least, I'll do these 3 quests. And so I sort of overcome my alcohol aspect here. So we at least had to... I'm trying to set like some sort of fixed criteria for what the rule is with that. But I don't really know. We spent all our money on it. That could be what it is. It's not that you have to be drunk the whole episode. You have to be drunk the most you can, because, yeah, you can't just procure money from thin air to do that. I don't like the way my health is. I forgot about this ability that I have that is called a trap. And so it's not a good way of doing things. I can use the eagle eye. Obviously, I can't use eyes of the beast. You have to be careful with the burning blade. Although they're only level 10, so they should be... scared of these raptors too. Here we go with the leashing aspect. I'm not trying to leash you, dude, whether it be as a pet or as an enemy. It's sometimes weird how it works, but I think the biggest confusion I had with it was around the water. It's like, oh, why is he chasing me so far? I'm not trying to leash him or whatever. But it's because of the fact that you're going so slow in the water that your typical expectations of them resetting aren't the same. Right, because you're not used to moving that slowly. Or yeah, we'll do a hard mode like that where you're only allowed to RP walk the whole time. Like there's so many different runs you can do with this game that are fun. That one guy came up with the boar idea. I'll play it like South Park. The problem with that is you have to be in dungeons too much. Like you have to go farm stuff in RFK, RFD, and then even then some of them cop out and don't count because, oh, it's undead. It's technically not a boar even. It's not a beast. Or some of them don't even have boars in the name, but they just look like boars. One of them you have to farm like a boss or like a rare spawn in Red Ridge Mountains. So how would you even do it as a horde player? I guess it's portrayed from the Alliance perspective anyway, like Elwyn Forest and stuff. So 4 out of 5. We might be able to catch a raptor here on the way back. What a fitting, amazing spot to find, too. we pick up this guy's keg on the episode that I'm even saying I have to drink away my sorrows. That is a really weird overlap coincidence moment. Right, like we're getting a quest related to being an alcoholic on the one episode ever of my life that I'm actually doing that. So no, I'll still continue it for next episode, that we still have to do that. We have to burn our money on it, but if we don't have that much money, then you just have to deal with it. So maybe drinking it that fast is a little bit unfair. Whenever it says like a text prompt, I should stop and accept that that's, you know, actually relevant, but trying to avoid the Plain Striders, but whenever you cut between two, you could aggro both. So that's always a tough lesson learned sometimes. Yeah, this could count as a separate one because they're in like separate quadrants there. But basically, I don't even want to use the crossroads as a rest off point. So please let me get the 5th. Wait, I'm already on what quest? Why is he so hard to kill here? For now, it should be super strong because he's so close to dying. Okay. Just play it safe, although now I have 0 potions, so in a way that's not playing it safe at all. I gotta use the trap every fight. I gotta get used to that aspect. And now we're gonna really have to either get some food for ourselves or figure something out. This doesn't feel like there's enough of these raptors, but there must be some other point where they're at. So we'll go here, we'll go to Lushwater Oasis. And then the only other quest we have to do is the pirate one, so we should do that too. That you can't even do because Boulder Load Mine obviously is too much for us right now. This one is obviously in a different zone. Even that one, I guess I could save for a little bit later, and we'll get more quests obviously in the Barrens itself. So let's do those two, right? Or at least we'll go back to Ratchet and then figure out. Let's do the Oasis and let's do the freebooter thing. Yeah, even that's related to liquor. How fitting. We're gonna go kill the pirates to get some booze, not for actually the quest. That's just a bonus. Very, very interesting overlaps in this series. That happened somewhere else earlier on too. I can't remember. There was something that I was talking about or something going on in my RP setting that fit very well with what was happening in the course of the game. We should definitely get to level 20 here, and then I won't have enough money to learn spells, but again, that's a fair punishment to pay for the loss of our pet. I almost was going to make it like, oh, if the pet dies, I die, but then I would just not use the pet, and so that would be fine too. Like, maybe that's how it'll be the rest of the run. I just won't use a pet ever, and I just won't get one because I can't deal with the grief of loss of it. That's why it's more psychological than it is anything else. It's not that you can't just get a pet, it's that what keeps preventing you from getting one is sort of the trauma associated with losing it, or even the fact that is he waiting for a raptor to respawn. It's basically the fact that you lost a particular kind, right? So we lost the wolf. Now we're never going to be able to get a wolf, even if it's a different kind, like the ones in the hinterlands, or like in Duskwood, yeah, like we'd go to Duskwood anyway. And then we can't get a raptor because we lost that one. The same to the food aspect. So it's not like any other reason than our own character's mind that's preventing us from doing that. It's not like a law of nature or a law of being a hunter or something like that. There are very few games that play into RP that well. Like, even this game arguably doesn't, but it has so much depth and scope to it that you can obviously choose to do that. But even like Bethesda games are some of the best games ever for that purpose. Okay, please give me the 5th one. Or there are more kind of on the outskirts here. In fact, this might even be the very lush water oasis that I'm looking for. Level 17. As long as we do the trap, we always get off to a head start. Beautiful. Right in front of him as he's about to aggro. Almost feels like a cheat. Use the racial every fight, use the trap every fight, use the bomb every fight. Like, this is what it's come to. The problem with the trap is you can AoE and aggro a whole bunch of stuff, right? I forget. First enemy to approach. I mean, if you're already planning to aggro this, then you might have some other problem there. Or see, we don't even have the name tags out there, so we might like have a rare, an elite or a rare spawn that we don't even realize is one. Rare spawns can be dangerous too, as we saw like with the spider in the mine in in Silverpine, like he had some random, like he's about to die like any other enemy, and then he goes into some super saiyan mode. Like he shoots me with a shadow bolt for like 200, and he puts on a shield that absorbs like 150 damage or something too, just like random, which is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not the sort of surprise moment that I was hoping for. Then we have our pet tank for a little bit. And these things are just huge. You have to understand the troll is like one of the biggest races in the game too. If he gets a couple crits in a row on me, I could be in trouble. You never want to let yourself get this low. Or they'll do some kind of special ability like we're just talking about. He'll have some last stand, but this is just a random generic enemy. The Lushwater Oasis is... Where did he say it was? Or of the Forgotten Pools. Let's find it. Travel to the Forgotten Pools northwest of the crossroads. Northwest would have to be this. Oh, shit. Of course, there's a couple different ones like this, one of which will lead to the Wailing Caverns. This is a good opportunity to do our little fishing thing, too. I basically just want to do the pirate one, too. That would be a fitting thing for the alcoholism. We're trying to kill pirates for that. We're trying to do this guy's random keg quest for it. We just spent all our money on it. Like, that's the whole fixation and theme of the episode. Troll goes to Alcoholics Anonymous. I thought it would mean that I would be given alcohol anonymously, so I don't have to feel bad about drinking it. Very disappointing experience. And now you have the little centaur clowns to deal with, which sometimes be a little bit scary, level 14. But I'm not even really here to fight stuff, although there might be nothing else that sends me here to do anything. Yeah, I'm scared of them, even though I'm over leveled for the area too. But yeah, if they have like the pack runners and they aggro stuff together, it can be very tricky. Or sometimes enemies will surprise you, like even though he's lower level. You do actually have the ability to dual wield, but I don't know as far as what other weapon types we can use. I've actually forgotten as far as one-hander. Why do I feel like you could use two-handed swords, but not one-handed swords? Like you can only dual wield axes, and maybe that's all you can do. I really don't remember. It's just not something that ever really I cared about because I'm not a hunter. I mean, you'd obviously see them with stuff, but... Or no, hunters could have Thunder Fury because that was the whole meme, so... Or wait, Rogue, Warrior, or no, I can't, maybe they changed it over time too. That's what's so confusing about the game actually, is that, you know, oh, it was like that in that one expansion, but then it wasn't originally, or whatever. Well, thank God that guy's got a low attention span. I'm obviously too high level for him. It's kind of fitting to try to clear through all this on the way, at least. Oh, please, I need that ability myself. That's pretty sick, though. I don't feel any remorse about using bombs now. I sort of hesitated a bit before. Isn't that the best sort of enemy pathing? Just where he sort of is roaming around randomly and not even trying to aggro to you. He just happens to do it because he's doing whatever he's doing. I don't even know. So we can interrupt this guy. We have an umbrella from the roof, though, so we should be immune to that. Might be a little dangerous if I was actually a lower level. Yeah, so dual wielding could be a consideration because I'm using a one-hander now anyway, but that's only just by choice. In fact, that's why I thought I could, if we get like another one-handed axe, right? This one's actually better than our two-hander, but that's not saying much because this is level 10 and that was level 5. Right now we're dual wielding a fish, so we'll make up for our loss of a pet by having our, I don't know, like a second weapon to feel like it replaces us. I don't know how you could really rationalize that, but we don't get a second source of damage from our pet, but we'll get a second source of damage from our other arm. In whatever weird way you want to say that. Yeah, so much for not melee only, not being able to use range. Like, we can use ranged bombs because that's not like a class ability. And again, you might think, oh, that's OP and you can get carried by engineering stuff. But you have to remember how hard it is to get in the context of this run, where... You know, you're doing it yourself. You're not mailing stuff from a main. You don't have a lot of money. You know, things like that. Take care of this clown, or there's way too many stacked on top of each other. I I don't really want to fight even two of these together, as much as they might not seem like a threat. But sometimes they're scripted to aggro together, or sometimes they're tied to like an object, like a chest or something, where they'll only aggro if you touch it. We saw that like with the Murlocs, where we were clearly too high level to aggro them from that location, but we tried to open the chest. Speaking of a chest, the chest at Mods, my nightmare at Mods, so we can go get revenge on him once we go back to Tristfall, which I might even feel inclined to do to deal with the death of our pet. Don't stand in the lightning, but it really didn't seem to matter the last time. So it's a booty chest key, but I don't know what the chest is. Like, you would think it would be around here. What even looks like a chest? It's like a little quest within a quest that has nothing to do with anything. Or they did a good job hiding that chest away. Goblins are so shrewd. Where like, oh, it's not where the Tinkerer guy is inside the building that you would expect it to be, but it's like behind in some weird location that I only looked because I was being like overly OCD and paranoid. The only other logical place it would be is maybe at the other camp, or I don't know what this means actually. Opens the Kolkar booty chest, but what the heck is it? Where is it? I don't know if that's just like a generic thing that spawns, like there's several of them all over the place, or there didn't seem to be one over there. Or it should just be like a normal chest, but it'll just be locked. That's interesting. It doesn't even give you a key ring for that interaction, but a whopping 39 crit. Like with this, we're getting like 100 crits or something. Or like here we could obviously, you can't really get out of it though in theory unless they chase you, because they could just stand there forever and keep casting as you're trying to do that. Fuck. I'm gonna need that just to get through what we're dealing with there. Or wait. I don't have room for it apparently. I guess I don't really need the milk and I can't really get rid of anything else, so I'll just chug this, which you're allowed to do stuff like that, but you only have to destroy stuff in a bonfire, which I could have destroyed it on the other side. There was that one there. Booty chest. I guess we can always find it later on, but it's a little bit surprising. But yeah, wouldn't that be a strategy? Like, oh my goodness, I run away because he's using the lightning, and then I have no choice but to wait. But then I guess I'll have to out of range him. Her. That also reminds us of our pet. Like maybe that's the fate that it got. It wasn't enough for the goblins to kill it. They're such greedy people that they don't want to waste anything, which is in principle ideologically consistent with us. We don't like to waste anything either. You could show like some kind of a montage, like we would never waste our food when we hunt something. We would eat every last bit of it, but we also see that the goblins are like that for other cynical reasons. They want to hoard all their money, so they'll eat the dead wolf that they killed, and also to stick it to us, I guess, that we dared to encroach upon their territory, the Venture Co. It's not like it's only goblins there, but I'm just sort of portraying it like that. As like a big nemesis of ours now. As if we already don't have a vendetta against them because of the whole Venture Co. aspect, destroying nature, killing trees and plants and stuff, and animals along the way. Destroying natural habitats. The same way the Druids would have an even bigger vendetta against them. Meanwhile, so many of the Druid and the Hunter quest involve killing wild animals too, but I guess maybe for a good cause because they're too rabid and aggressive and whatever, befouled, and you have to kind of cleanse them. I don't know. Wait. Can't carry any more of those items, not because you can't carry anything else, period. So I guess we'll just keep that and hopefully find something for it later. A lot of the stuff we can probably come back and do later because we're going to have to do the one to do with the mushrooms and stuff. So this is a perfect instance to go fishing for a little fishing challenge that we have going on, but I can't even do it. It would feel like a real shame if I didn't do it. There's nothing I can really even get rid of, or I know what I can get rid of. I could even do that. But then I still won't have room because don't we have two things? That's like some kind of rare bauble, right? That you only get from certain places, or it just feels rare because I haven't seen them too often. We do have enough room for that now. So the whole fishing idea is just you're supposed to fish in every body of water that you come across, or every body of water in the zones that you play in, at least once, right? Otherwise, that's just part of the whole idea. to encourage exploration and stuff like that and make use of the profession. It's not like you're only allowed to fish once. Oh God. It's not like you're only allowed to fish once, but you're just 155 health and 315 mana. Like, that was a special fish that we were saving for our pet because we didn't know whether we liked fish or not. But the oh, here we go. Oh shit. So the dual wield thing will come together. The dual wield will be god tier. I already have a second axe. I didn't realize. But now, yeah, we have to comp it away while we're crying. Just like, oh, we'll never get to feed it to him. That was like a special one that we got just for his purpose. Or it was just kind of unique. There's a lot of unique one-off stuff that I have just for the sake of it. So the only thing that breaks the rule as far as doing quests up until you only have yellows and up is the fact, like in Silverpine, if there's something that tells you to go to another zone or something that tells you to go to like the Undercity or something, that we can't do. Yeah, we got to check out the waters, which there doesn't seem to be anything amiss with them. I'm checking them out in great detail by even... Oh, shit. Eat me. I don't know how rare actually the drop rate on those is, but what a catch. We fished twice, and what a blessing in disguise that our inventory was full and that we had to get another thing from it. Just the fact that if we didn't do that, then we might not have gotten the deviant fish. We'll learn how to make the savory deviant delight just for pure RP purposes and then waste all our money on that, as if our alcohol addiction wouldn't have been bad enough on its own. Yeah, I'm very happy that we discovered in our inventory, in this mess of an inventory, the second axe that we have. Where did my first axe go, though, now? Or wait, did I just mistake it for... Oh, don't tell me I just baited myself. I mistook it for a second axe just because I unequipped it. What a clown show. What the fuck? I'm imagining that, oh, yay, we had that one. I didn't even see it there because it wasn't there. We should check these other camps, I guess, just for the coal car booty. Wait. Yeah, this is the other side of it. We should be done with Lushwater Oasis, and so now the only other quest I want to do basically is just the other alcohol-related one, which is going to be to do with the pirates. We'll stop by and Ratchet, and then I don't know where I actually want to rest off. Try to get at least some stuff done so I don't feel too under pressure by how just the pace of this series is a little bit... Oh, shit. It makes me feel compelled to fight him, but the worst is when they aggro along with other stuff, you know? He'll have some special ability to call people to his aid or whatever. Get a rare spawn even under this circumstance. I do have a potion, and I do have the ability to use a bomb, although I'm getting low on bombs. Look how close he is going to that, too. Just use your bow, you clown. You take personal umbrage to that, too. A hunter who hates bows. How ironic. And guns. I don't really understand how we could possibly do this, because I feel like he's going to aggro 100%, and I don't like this scenario. Or maybe not. I almost didn't notice, but you can just tell by his appearance that he's a special guy. Or now he'll aggro along with them because you're drawing so much attention to yourself. You kind of have to do this where you aggro at least one of them and try to kill it. Or now he actually reset. Or it's possible I could nab him without nabbing the other two. Maybe it feels a little bit dirty, but... Item's not ready yet. We should start off with a bomb, and then we could also... Just want to see whether that thing aggro's or not. Oh, he's not even that strong, though. See, sometimes... Well, it could be famous last words. Sometimes these can be a little bit crazy. Oh, what a joke of a guy. What is this? Now he'll go in Super Saiyan mode with 1 HP left, put on his shield ability, and some of them don't have very exciting abilities and stuff. 2 agility is very valuable, and so that's going to be a nice little upgrade for us. Where is it? Buckskin cape. We still have a gray calico cloak. Let's see what it looks like. Actual meaningful upgrade, and that's, I mean, benefit of killing rare spawns, but it doesn't really matter because... You know, you're going to rely on greens from other stuff, too, if nothing else. All Try to finish this clown off quickly. See, I'll even spam wing clip for that purpose. It's not that hard to kill these two together, but it was just hard to do it within the kiting situation of that. Loot during combat, one of my great sins. I would do that in raid sometimes, and it would be hilariously piss people off. I wasn't really much of a raid leader, but I didn't really like to do that. I mean, the one thing I didn't like about raiding genuinely was just it sort of became a schedule thing. Like, oh, you know, it's raid night, you can't do anything else. You got something going on in real life with your friends or your girlfriend, or no, you got to cancel it. It's like doing a job, or it's like a pressure, right? I don't mind doing it, 10, 12 hours a day, or you know, going a hardcore session, but I do mind it if there was no chest or anything there, though. Still, I do mind it if it's basically just a pressure, right? I don't like that in most things. You gotta have like a flexible schedule. I wonder what's up that one. Is it gonna be some raptor crazy demon infested burning blade camp? A lot of these camps, and it makes me just wonder where the chest would be. But that was at least a good discovery of the rare spawn there. See, they don't have the gall to really use the bow as much as they should, in the context of, you know, they should just use it all the time, and then I'd be forced to, even as I say that he's trying to net me for that purpose. We got to get that as an engineering gadget. I don't see anything here besides a barrel of milk, which I do have a stack of milk still, or no, I chugged it all. Kind of wash out the taste of the liquor from our mouth from earlier. Let's check out that camp, and then, oh, maybe this could be a good place to rest off. It just has to be some sort of building that feels safe, although that might be more coal car infested, which even that would be acceptable as long as it's not too close. I'm just excited every time I see a potential building to rest in, so I have to keep track of the ones that I have rested in, which has already been like 5 times. So that's the trade-off of a big zone like this where, you know, sure, I've never used this many bombs as I have today, but I feel kind of naked without my pet, in the sense that I kind of need every help I can get. Yeah, if I get any kind of green axe to drop, that'd be very good, or any sort of one-handed axe is going to be of value. Even that, 4.3 main hand. This one would be also main hand, which is only fair. Wait, I thought I even saw that it said offhand. Oh no, that was for something else, I guess. We're not finding, where did he come from? We're not finding anything to do with the chest, the coal car chest. I think this is like where some coal car attack is happening actively, so maybe that's not the best place to be. I do want to do that Booty Bay one though, the pirate one. Yeah, very eventful session. We actually got some stuff done. I'm getting a little paranoid actually about, you know, being able to complete all these because it's going to take forever. So this I'm not going to worry about. This you can't even do. That we'll save for later. So the only thing logically we can do is that. So is there going to be a chest in any of these million camps that we go through? Level 12. I'm surprised they even aggro like that. You are like 7 levels above. We're going to pretend like we're whacking you with a fish, like we're already practicing our dual wielding mechanics. Which, yeah, we won't be able to afford. I don't know how much it actually costs to do. So not only are we only going to be able to use melee abilities or survival-based abilities like traps and stuff, but also on top of that, we can't even afford half of them. So we're going to miss out on like a new rank of something. Like we're being handicapped pretty hard over here. These coal car are better at hiding the chest than even the goblins, or maybe they just don't have any. What came first, the key or the chest? That was kind of a sneaky maneuver behind the tent, but you don't want to be that close to the tent just in case. I'm sometimes lazy about pulling stuff back, but there's no reason not to. See, oh, I'm struggling. I'm getting heated against level 13s. What's worse, getting heated against 1200 rated chess players or level 13 mobs when you're 19 in Classic WoW? It's hard to say, but basically, it's just me playing it safe. We run out of mana. I'd love to actually use that. Now, this is a very questionable spot for it to be in. And the reason why is because you don't want him to aggro the other one. Aggroing 2 to 3 things can be death no matter what. Like, just doesn't matter what level, doesn't matter what type of enemy. Just, it can be very overwhelming. We had a few close brushes with death. Oh, fuck off. We had a few close brushes with death. That can also troll you, like, in the middle of combat. It'll it'll make something attack you. Like they'll buff you just before they die, right? That's a way to grieve people, or it could be an accident. You could play it off. They'll buff you just before they die, and then whatever they were attacking or was attacking them will attack you because they feel like, you know, oh, you're working together and this and that. Or wait, he put the net and baited me to do the bomb, but he didn't even run away. Fought me with honor, unlike a traditional hunter would do. We explored all these camps and didn't find any sign of a chest, so it's a real mystery. But we'll obviously keep that key on us. Just have to be careful not to accept any quest that's actually going to be whaling cameras related, because I don't really want to abandon any quests. Yeah, why can't I remember exactly what hunters can use? I know you can use two-handed swords, and I know you can use two-handed axes, obviously. I don't think you can use maces of any kind. So as far as dual wielding, you might be able to only use swords and axes. Or maybe, yeah, it must be swords and axes. That would make sense. Maces don't really fit. Even swords almost don't feel like they fit with a hunter. You just have to go to like Undercity to train it, which I haven't even been to. Oh yeah, this would be a perfect spot to leave off on. Right, this kind of counts, that kind of counts, although maybe that's in part of the Kolkar aggression. That might even be the quest name, or we've already had that one. Centaur, Bracers, Kolkar leaders. We have our duties, Hunter, duties to the Horde. The Kolkar are a threat to the Horde's claims in the Barrens. We must reduce the numbers of their troops. And so I have a bounty task for you. While on Kolkar territory, slay their warriors and collect Centaur Bracers. Return to me when you have a heap of Bracers, and the Horde will reward you well. 15 Centaur Bracers. I don't know what that is. I would never use it. Main hand. If only it was offhand, then we could actually make something happen with it.
What do you need?
What a badass name, too. Deathgate. Kolkar leaders. The Centaurs have played the Tauren for years, and recently the Kolkar. Yeah, what's more impressive or unimpressive, that the Centaur or the Tauren are pushed back by Centaur, and they're their mortal enemies, level 15 to 25. You know, random stuff in Desolus and the Barrens and whatnot, or the fact that Murlocs push around the trolls and killed Sen'jin, a level 6 random troll from Warcraft 3. Centaurs have played the Tauren for years, and recently the Kolkar Centaurs of the Barrens have grown into a real threat. Normally they were disorganized in these lands, but their new leaders have risen up among them, rallying them. To preserve our holdings here, these Centaur leaders must be destroyed. Bring me the head of Balrog Kodobane. He camps near the Forgotten Pools to the north. Defeat him, then return to me.
Strength.
Yeah, doesn't the rare... Oh, shit. Doesn't the rare spawn thing count for that? That wasn't even the guy. That was like strong arm, but... So what is this? Are there not Centaur around here? Or could I use this house as my sleepover point? This almost seems perfect. Although we'll be choking to death at night. Because it's like on fire. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Yeah, that wouldn't actually be rightfully usable. I mean, we could use that, although I typically wouldn't. Man, they kind of cucked me on that. Now, I guess it's a sign that we should go to Ratchet. Lantiga. This is the site of a great battle, many battles. Why did I think there were Centaur, like, actively attacking here, too? We can't even pick that one up. That's kind of an annoying thing. Let's go back to... Where are we turning these quests in, first of all? Report back. You're in... Yeah, like, it tells you who it is, but how do I know where they are? Obviously, it's in... Find someone who knows about it. I don't know how we would figure that out. Go to Ratchet. Let's just go to Ratchet, turn those in. I won't even actually do the crossroads yet. Shrine of the Fallen Warrior. But where is it? Oh, is it actually up there? How do you get up there? That would be a good way to pay homage to our pet. He was something of a warrior himself. I see like the little priest thing up there. OTA. So many of these things that I either didn't know were there or I don't remember are there. We'll actually still skip the crossroads for now. Because I was going to say, yeah, we will pick up all the quests, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we got off track because I couldn't do that anyway. Right? I didn't have room in my quest log. Let's just not die trying to get up there, but I don't know actually how you get up there. Leading Plane Strider, Greater Plane Strider. Those guys are always just a bait. Like, oh, it makes it seem like such a safe area, uneventful. Or like, I love that in the Blasted Lands where some people are like yelling at the sky. Oh, shit. yelling at the sky sort of turned to stone. I don't know what exactly the explanation for it is, but like they see the Legion coming and they're literally petrified in fear of it. Can you get up all the way? Foreign are better at this because they have their hooves and whatnot. I just don't want to fall somewhere and die because of it. But whatever, the main attraction is that. So I wish we could give our burning blade thing to them because I don't know what we still have that in our inventory for. Let's be careful. It'd be very silly to die to something like this, no. Dying to fall damage, like Asmongold in Dark Souls 1, where he dies to, like, he jumps off something in Blighttown. I don't know if he tried it again after that, but be careful. We don't want the fallen warrior to be us right now. But we couldn't go from the backside because I already tried to do that. So how the heck would you do this? Plain Strider is taunting me. Come on. What, like, it's just there for cosmetic? You're not allowed to actually get to it? Or maybe you're meant to go from here with that little... No. I genuinely don't know how you're expected to get up there. It's just like some priest apparition, right? Like the spirit healer type of thing, which is the only time we'd ever get a chance to see it because we don't get to obviously go to that unspeakable place that shall not be named. Damn, that's kind of annoying. I want to see it. Oh, there, you just run in a straight line. What is this? I'm sure there's some quest that involve this, or it's probably even like a specific class quest. Could be something to do with shamans. So we're basically treating this as a de facto burial for our pet, right? Just to show that the shrine of the fallen warrior, but it's not an orc or a human or a troll warrior. It's actually one of the wild. That Plain Strider is kind of photobombing me. Look at this shit. I'm trying to have an emotional moment here. Why does it feel like everything that happens in these episodes is so fitting? Like, we meet this to signify that we just lost our pet last episode, and then we meet all these things to do with alcohol. Like, we find the guy's empty cask, and now we're killing pirates. Like, it just somehow fits within our story very well. But I don't know what the actual lore significance of this is. And you can't really talk to her or anything. Yeah, all these kind of cool locations that sort of tell a story without even needing a quest associated with it. Obviously, there is a quest associated, but kind of desecrating his grave a bit by doing that. Uh-oh. Very paranoid about fall damage. Or, like, even that seems scary. Like, how did I do this? You first go up, and then you go down the other side. You get on a bad trek and fall off a long distance, you're just done for. Like, you'll keep sliding down. It won't be like one simple drop. It almost makes it look like you're not meant to do stuff like this, right? Like you're kind of wall hacking or something, but you actually are. There's a couple of places like that in Mulgore, I feel like. You already rested in Ratchet. I already count like that I rested in the Crossroads, which is a little bit annoying, right? Because of the simple fact that you're not able to... It was like the one on the outskirts, but it feels like it's close enough that it should count. So we'll turn in a few of these quests, and then maybe next time I can pick up all the quests in the Crossroads. I was just trying to do a little bit longer, more productive session, because some of these have been way too short. One of them, like, where I'm just dicking around in Orgrimmar or something as we come back and are showing off our pet. That is also on the front of our mind now, but for different reasons. Yeah, we literally see, like, maybe the one and only spirit healer in the world, unless you see a priest die in front of you, right? Like, that's a pretty rare sort of model, character model. Or hopefully if we go south a little bit from Ratchet, we'll find somewhere to rest at. But no, it'll just be the pirates, actually. We found a few good places up there. In fact, I was willing to stop off in that one house, but it was so filled with smoke and burning that... Like, what is that? That could be a good outpost. I'm just kind of desperate and seeking for these houses. I always don't mind going ahead. Whatever that building is could be our savior, because then, okay, we can stay there. And that doesn't count as a crossroads because it's far enough away, right? And it could just be some random NPC shack. And then, so next time we'll go to Ratchet and finish those off, do the thing. I was going to plan to do that, but I guess we've had enough influence with respect to, or maybe I'll still do it and come back then. Like, we've had enough influence from the liquor-related expansionism here. So yeah, we at least spent all our money at the beginning on it, but that didn't do entirely what I was trying to do with it. Yeah, really, it makes you appreciate these little random dinky houses that would just be an afterthought otherwise. So I'd be very happy if I get like a random green axe drop, but the only problem with it now is I wouldn't even have room for it, or I'll have to eat the savory deviant delight, which isn't even a savory one, it's just a regular one. We could have fed that to our pet and see what happens, which I don't even know. Why do I feel like I never would see some of these beasts as pets? What would be our justification for being able to sleep here? Just the fact that, I don't know, at some point it's going to be hard to do that too. Like, it's hard enough to find places to rest, let alone that. The last one we, you know, maybe it's convenient somehow. We'd look at it, the glass half full, like, oh, pets aren't allowed there, or we don't have enough room for our pet to sleep, so now we don't have to worry about it because we don't have one. But because we talked to that guard in the one that was getting served bread, right, by the kid outside the crossroads, we made friends with him, so now he gives us a good reference to be able to sleep here. That could be the justification. We met the one guard because he was sitting there like the whole time. We made friends with him. That could be the only way to explain it, because it's not like there's a quest there or something that you can pick up to say, you know, okay, that's why we're allowed to do that. So that one seems like a great pickup because that's just unexpected. We still have the one at the top that we can use. We actually have two at the top because, again, as long as they're a decent distance away. It's amazing how much that's actually bothering me, but I want to stay true to that condition, even though I already broke it twice. But it was within one episode was just, you know, the heat stroke one where I could barely go anywhere. So I was like, heat stroke as in I was streaming on Wi-Fi and I kept disconnecting. So I didn't want to go anywhere. So I just sleep outside on the doorstep of Orgrimmar, which, to be fair, I never rested in Orgrimmar because I'm not even allowed to do that. But that was weird. And so that's an exception. And then the other one, I was just telling my pet some stories in a house in the Ivar patch where we had rested there the last episode too before that. So we've done that twice, but that was an RP only episode where I'm not really meant to move anywhere. This could also be something. But this is like the mine, so maybe that's not right. Yeah, that almost doesn't fit. Unless there was a house next to it too. You can't just sleep in a mine. Or even like the towers and stuff. I'll try to stay away from stuff like that. It should have to be something a little more believable. I don't mind using those burrows, like the army barracks, like what that guy was using next to the fiery house. So we can turn all this stuff in. The camouflage sort of redeems our loss to the goblins a little bit. We take our sweet revenge. We blow their stuff up, literally. Even RPing with the bomb usage. Pretty fitting. So we've made mortal enemies of the goblins many times over. And just, we seek revenge at the Boulder Load Mine, but we'll wait till our like level 25 before I mess with that. Yeah, it's such an impactful moment if I just get a second axe for my offhand, because this one's already doing more damage than the two-hander that I have. Not that that's a very high standard, because that's like a level 5 weapon. But then we also have the simple fact of, well, I don't know. It's like, if you're able to dual wield, then like what even gives you dual wielding? Isn't there like dual wield specialization? You'd think there would be. Like, how can you not have that? Or it'll be in a different deterrent, survivalist, clever. There is actually nothing like that here. Yeah, it'll be in some weird other category. You're trying to tell me there's nothing that actually makes dual wielding worth it, and there's not really anything that mentions it too much. Like, you know, I can't think of why it would exactly be a benefit then. you typically want your top end damage, because if you're getting those big crits with Raptor Strike, you have the highest end damage output, period.
Steak.
Yes. Empty keg. Okay. Well, I'll be. This was one of Chen Storm Stout's kegs. He traveled with Rexar a long time ago. I haven't seen or heard about him in a Kodo's age. I appreciate you bringing this to me. Like, how do we even know that, for example? And what a time to level up. Brewmaster, again. How many references? Chen's empty keg. I mean, it's only fitting based on the quest. Would you like a taste of it? Absolutely. The Storm Stout is a mighty brew. Chen taught me the recipe to my mentor. And they're kind of encouraging my bad habit. And my mentor passed it on to me. I'll need you to get a few things, but I can tell you this, the kick is worth it. Bring me 5 Savannah Lion tusks from any Savannah Lion, 5 Plain Strider kidneys from any Plain Strider, 1 Thunder Lizard horn from any species of the Thunder Lizard. That should do the trick. Where even are there Thunder Lizards besides Camp Tarajo, though? We would have to go back to Duratar, I guess, maybe to get it. You can find these ingredients throughout the Barrens. Yeah, I don't know where. We haven't seen a single Thunder Lizard, I don't think, yet. We've seen some Kodo. I mean, we don't have to do that yet, but that's an important priority for us. It's really rubbing this point in our face. What would I do next? I would obviously do this. And the reason why is because you're setting up for that, and it's actually a cool activatable ability. Increases the duration of freezing frost trap effects by 15%, and the damage of immolation explosive trap by 15%. Increase the total health by 2%. I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm kind of more a fan of the activatable or, you know, sort of more interesting effects. Like, that's just boring, even if it's good. And this seems better than this because you're only going to use this once per fight, and they basically have the same effect, right? This has a 15% chance to entrap the target, immobilizing them for 5 seconds. This also does basically the same thing with almost the same percentage. So, but you can spam this. So even if you use this twice a fight, it gives you more of a chance than doing it with this once a fight. But it just feels more organic that you should be rewarded for the trap rather than degenerate spam of an ability. 5-minute cooldown when activated, increase your dodge and parry chance by 25%, which is obviously great for farming the abilities of Mongoose Bite and counterattack, which we don't even have yet. I guess I can leave it there and put our booze on hold for a second. Get the little whirlwind icon. So turn in as many quests as we can because we have a whole bunch to pick up in the Barrens. Basically, we did rest in Ratchet already with that nice chick over there in the engineering place. Or not, that's not even the engineering huts on the other side, but I don't know what her deal even is. She's talking about something to do with Ratchet. Or no. She's talking about something to do with Tanaris. You can't remember where somebody went. Like, her buddy went to the ruins of... No, that's not it yet. Tanarisin, Tenikaris, Tenkaris, Anisani. So we agree to find her mentor for her, and that's why she let us sleep there. There's always some sort of ongoing story, so we'll remember that. All these things that we'll have as loose ends before we finish the playthrough.
Money, friend.
Which is going to be a long time. Yes, you're just the troll I'm looking for. Did you get the horns? Those things are going to make me a fortune. Great, you got them. Now I just need to ground them down, mix them with some wine, and increase your intellect by 4 and stamina. I mean, punch. Does it have a little bit of alcohol in there too? Increases your intellect by 4 and decreases your stamina by 5 for 5 minutes. Plus 3, but we already got a 2 agility one. Or you get both, but... Oh, why did I think my inventory was going to be full too? Because we got rid of the one quest item. Ugh, that's terrible. Problem is you're trying to do it too quickly. Available quest, smart drinks. Like, how much stuff to do with liquor are you going to give me, dude? Okay, so Raptor ones didn't work so well, but that's all right. No one got rich on their first try, and besides, I think we found something that'll work even better in my smart drinks. There's a substance called whaling essence, and I think it's the cause of the strange plants and animals in the Barrens. Get me some, as long as it's not in the whaling caverns, and I'll try it in my drink. I heard the essence gathers in ectoplasmic creatures in the whaling caverns to the west. Hunt those creatures and gather the essence. Oh yeah, just hunt creatures in the whaling caverns. Like, that's just no big deal, right? 6 portions of whaling essence. Like, what are you talking about, dude? There's nothing that really makes you realize the severity of what that would mean. Blue leaf tubers are a delicacy around the world, but they're rare, very rare. The only place to find them is here in the Barrens, deep in the earth, and razorfen crawl. What is this guy trying to do to me, dude? This guy's trying to sabotage my run more than even I am by my own clown behavior. And even then, they're impossible to find unless you know just where to look. That's why We train these snuffle-nosed gophers to find them for me. They have great noses and find a tuber from miles away. It won't be easy. You'll get some tubers. I'll pay you handsomely. Why does he even think I could do this? Grab a crate with holes. Find a snuffle-nose command stick. Grab and read the snuffle-nose owner's manual. What is this quest? In RFK, you realize I'm level 20. What are you sending me to RFK for? Like, what are you talking about, dude? He's sending me to Wailing Caverns, which is at least fair given my level, but this guy's a total clown. Use the crate with the holes to summon a gopher. Use the command stick on the gopher to make it search for tubers. I'm something of a tuber myself. Finally, because I always used to hate YouTuber or disregard it, but now I'm kind of appreciating it. Bring 6 blue leaf tubers. Snuffle-nose command stick. So yeah, you have to be careful not to just accept those blindly. There's one more, the camouflage, and I think he's in that other engineering hut. So I'd like to do this Booty Bay one, and then we can obviously find a place to sit. Or is it this guy?
Hey,
Tinkers Union. Director Riddlevox put me in charge of the Union Shredder Development Program. A few months on the job, and I'm already in hot water. I could use your help. How can I help? We already read this, I think. Venture Company's new shredder is better than my latest interchangeable. From the interchangeable hands to control grips. My boss has given me a pretty strict deadline, but my boys and I couldn't come up with anything. Nothing was working, so we decided to borrow one of their prototypes. Wizard Crane to Sludge Fen to steal one, but he hasn't gotten back yet.
Time is money, friend.
Purple eyes are very, just striking. Oh, you're back? Do you have any camouflage? This is interesting. Yes, I have it along with the Tinkers Union. I'll have it sent along to the Tinkers Union headquarters in Undermine. I'm sure after... I like all these little name drops and foreshadowing things that you don't see for several expansions. Just that they had so much lore, right, already set there. So many name drop moments of characters and different lore figures and stuff. Even that amazing joke in the cheese place as you enter Stormwind where he's like, oh, by the time that... It's like when pigs fly, that'll happen. That Stormwind royalty actually cares about the everyday troubles of people or whatever. That'll happen the day the Deathwing attacks Stormwind. I'm sure after some careful dissection and research, they'll be able to make some sense of it. Perhaps I'll have to look a little myself first. That almost just feels fitting to get because you... Okay, let's take a look at these things. I like how they do it all in a split second just for the sake of... Oh, darn. He broke it. Wenicky Bolt Bucket. I like that delayed reaction too. Like, let's wait for his interaction to end. I think I might have broken that camouflage. That's not good. Because I already told some colleagues in the Undermine about it and they were very intrigued. We must find a way to fix it. Take the broken camouflage to Wenicky Bolt Bucket just out of Morshawn Rampart, the horde outpost between the Barrens and Ashenvale. She's very clever and inquisitive. If you show her the camouflage, I'm sure she'd jump at the chance to fix it. Bring the broken camouflage to Wenicky Bolt Bucket. Oh, God. So I missed the one quest that you pick up at the guy too because I didn't have room for it. One thing I could do is make a bunch of bandages even, but... Or, I mean, I should just sell certain things like that I don't need. I could have alternate sets for like stamina build and this and that. If you have like a cloth vendor, cloth armor... Weaponsmith, is there a weapon I could get rid of?
Best deals anywhere.
I can't imagine why I'd need this many swords and stuff, or even that's kind of RP friendly because you feel like, does that work as a blacksmith hammer? Like that should be a titular profession-based item. Or like we could sell all the bandages. I don't even have room to make them really. Plate and chain, but there is a cloth guy in there. This is kind of a rule that actually makes some sense. Like, they would only buy stuff that they'd actually have some use for. Which I really have been stingy with my bag space, and it's tough because you're already never going to have super big bags in the first place. This will always keep confusing me when I see people like that because of the simple fact that you're not able to pick them up, but I'll keep thinking that I'm missing some quest or whatever. I have to actually wait through the quest text to scroll. That's fine. Yeah, this is sort of me making back up to the game. That is one of my favorite games, one of the best games of all time. I like how he blinks every time I move like that. Or not if you go that fast. Because I never actually read all the quest text and I didn't do a lot of these immersive type things. It's always dangerous when you have like a full inventory this way. And the reason why is because what if you get a green now? I might not be able to dump anything out. Right, given my whole structure. of how you have to like burn it in a fire. Let's sell the calico cloak too. A lot of the stuff we have just from, you know, Silver Pine Quest. We have to bring them like Undercity, which I wasn't going to allow myself to do just like that. The only last thing we should do, even though we're still filled out with quest, is just do the Bloodsail Buccaneer. South Sea Brigand, I keep calling them that like a million times. But you know what? We got some new reps to look at. Just a little flavor text and stuff for them. Booty Bay, Overlook, Gadgets, and Ratchet. We should have already had Ratchet. Part of the Steamweedle Cartel, the city provides a neutral haven for those that wish to trade goods and services in the Barrens. Capital of the Steamweedle Cartel and home. Now that's a little bit weird because, well, first of all, that's the one that doesn't touch the water. So it's not the best port city, unlike these other ones, Booty Bay, and I mean, I guess even Everlook is like that. Capital of the Steamweedle Cartel and home to Goblin Hood's finest engineers, alchemists, and merchants. Everlook, this trading post is run by the goblins of the Steamweedle Cartel and sits in the crossroads of Winter Spring's main trade routes. Booty Bay, this booming coastal city, is run by Baron Revogaz and the Blackwater Raiders, mortal enemies of the Bloodsail Buccaneers and part of the Steamweedle Cartel. These South Sea clowns don't really rise to the level of being mortal enemies of anybody, though. Now they're going to drop something super rare, but I do have that one space. And this icon very much, yeah, increase backpack size by actually buying them more just from vendors and stuff is the best way I can do it. Or hope that some special enemy will drop a bag for you, which they sometimes will drop like very shitty bags, like 6 slots and stuff. You have to kill 12 brigands and 6 cannoneers, which I assume are like right here. And again, you could say I'm picking on low-level stuff, but I really want to actually test out the dual-wielding capability, but we'll do that like next time. Or we should try to really show this off. We'll be able to spam Mongoose Bite non-stop if we, you know, go in there and just... But then again, it's 5-second cooldown, so you could do that almost anyway. Or we should have changed our tracking, too. Have to be careful that we don't miss anything valuable that we might loot. Why did I think that the trap could maybe aggro stuff in an AoE sense? Maybe that ends up happening later. At least if we fight some named NPC or something more valuable, we could try to definitely use deterrence. I like it to be a memorable time when I use an ability for the first time, or maybe I won't even use it at all. Like the trap was perfect. We used it first time on Gazooz after he sort of schooled us in the art of trapping. A very cool fitting moment where he was in like that weird inclined position. I guess you would have had to have been there to understand it, but like I should almost play the whole game in first person just so we can appreciate the character models that we're fighting against. But we want to play it like Diablo style, where it's the most immersion breaking perspective ever. Bird's eye view, which here you can't even really go that far out. Yeah, this stuff isn't even giving me experience, so you could constitute, oh, this is like farming, but it is still a green quest for us. So there's at least some of them that are going to be maybe the cannoneers that are going to be relevant to us. Yeah, look how you just dwarf them in size. Which is kind of a weird terminology if you think about it, because dwarves are small, so you make them look like a dwarf. That's why you say it like that. Gnomes are dwarfed by the dwarves. That's why they call them that. We have 8 more of these. This is kind of a joke of an area, but we'll find like a rare spawn here too. But yeah, I should have that same rule. Like I'm not allowed to kill trolls the same way that my pet's not allowed to kill other wolves. They just kind of sit it out and watch us slaughter them in front of it and don't change sides. That'd be such a hilarious way to die. Like they just start attacking you instead. Like even when I starved out the raptor, unintentionally, of course, right? It left my service, so that was heartbreaking enough. But imagine if it turned on me, like, oh, how dare you starve me? I'm going to attack you in my last bit of before I leave, right? It turns hostile towards you. That would be really punishing. If this was a really old school hardcore MMO, that would probably have even happened. And I didn't know that at the time. Like, I didn't know whether that would happen or not. I was kind of worried about it. We were fighting somebody in Terragard Key. We don't need any excuses to kill humans anyway, right? Because the Horde hates them. But it's kind of weird when you start to see the mixture of Horde and Alliance in some of these factions, whether it be the pirates or whether it be, you know, like even the Venture Co stuff. This is a little bit annoying because I might have to like pop the potion if they drop something of remote value. Don't try to help me. It's not like I would have any doubt here. Wasn't trying to kill steal. I didn't even see you there. Yeah, the way those goblins zipped away in the camouflage area, as it shall now be from now on be known, was very confusing. I don't know what's even up there. You're trying to take on 201s. Yeah, imagine we're competing for resources on a dead server. It is so immersive to play like this too, because I don't think I ever played on a server that was quite this dead. Even in the other hardcore runs, like, you just have everything to yourself, and it's just very nice, and you get a lot of these rare spawn encounters and stuff that you might not normally see. Make a single-player MMO type of game, which I always hear Kingdom of Amalur is like that, so I'd probably love it. I've never played it, but it's supposed to be. But then again, that's kind of an insulting, it's like an underhanded compliment, like, oh, it's not good enough to be compared to single-player games, so, you know, we'll call it like, oh yeah, it's like an MMO, but you don't necessarily want that, but you kind of do if, in terms of the size and the scope and stuff like that. Oh, we killed a cannoneer without even realizing it. I thought we were only killing brigands for now. Yeah, where's your cannon, though? I mean, you're nothing without your cannon, just like I'm nothing without my pet. If I'm nothing without the pet, then I don't deserve it. As a wise hunter once said, Rexar himself, maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe that's what I should do. I should attribute it to Rexar. Like, he's our idol. We keep hearing all these stories and quotes about him that we try to use to inform our own life and philosophy as a hunter. Actually getting kills stolen by this clown. Just in case there's like a random thing, or, you know, we're getting sort of helped by that. I might not have been able to do that if it wasn't for, I mean, I could have fought them one by one, but they might have aggroed together, so you might be doing something that would otherwise be impossible, and even then I'm still getting low. That I almost don't even deserve, and I don't even really want it either. If there's a chest, though, I won't turn it down, but not like I want their help, but they're just being annoying. Here we have 3 more of these. I'm not even going to explore this area super thoroughly. I just wanted to do this. Finish off with as much liquor-related tidbits as possible. I guess Ratchet is just a liquor-related place, right? Somehow you just associate it with that, or even Booty Bay probably more so. And the reality is just that we got like 5 quests today to do with that. We even still have another one. The empty keg. I mean, I guess we got one unrelated to that too, right? That has to do with that. I forgot what. At least she's not helping. That can be really annoying. That'll discredit my run. Like, oh, you would have died to that random level 12 as I'm level 20 just because if they didn't help you kind of thing. I like how spammable advantages are, though. Like, a minute is how long it takes me to kill anything anyway. Are you kidding me, dude? Yeah, I want to kill this guy. I'll use deterrence on him. Here, go like this. Or, it's like inadvertent help, though. You fucking clown. You ruin it. It's not even like I have to kill him. I'll probably have to kill him again later. I don't even have a quest to kill him. I'm just doing it for, you know, good deterrence target. I'm sure I could have taken it, but yeah, we don't need a pet when we just have this clown chasing us around, rubbing in our face that's like the spirit of our mother showing us what her pet was like. But I'm not going to acknowledge that it was a boar. She had better taste than that. So 2 more of each. And unfortunately, we can't leave off in Ratchet, though. But I'll turn this in, and they'll probably give me another one to kill. Probably that very same thing. That is sometimes the annoying thing about vanilla quest design, but it is sort of, it makes sense, but it's not always the cleanest way of doing it. Like, you'll go to an area, kill all the enemies in the area, then you'll kill a named enemy in the area, then you'll go and do something else, and like, it'll be a chain quest. Instead of giving you them all at once that you can do together, you're going to the area once, then go back again, and do things that you already would have done or you've already seen, but they just won't let you do that. They'll baby step you. Go to the first tent and kill somebody, then go to the second tent and kill somebody. They just let me do it all in one shot, which I tend to do anyway, but then it makes it kind of boring because you end up doing everything twice, basically. we didn't even really get to appreciate the deterrence target. I'm sure I could have killed them both together. Or even if not, I could have killed him and then run away. Or bombed them or whatever. There's no possibility that I would have died. Unless they had some crazy ability, which I don't even know what that would have been. That's obviously where you get Berserker stance as a warrior. It's kind of weird and random in a way, but I do kind of like it. What is he even hitting me? It looks like a screwdriver. Was there like a chest here? Yeah, I killed that, possibly kill stealing it from them, just because I wanted an experience like, I want to fight something that's notable, that feels actually worth it to, that feels worth it to use deterrence on. At least like a named NPC with a little bodyguard. So how do you stop people from really doing that? That's the problem. And that's the problem that big streamers would have too. Even if people don't grief you and try to get you killed, they could help you. And so you have to have a way to turn off friendly interactions or something, or be in some sort of instance capacity. So turn the sucker in, and then maybe I'll go back to that spot with the guards, because we got in good with that one dude. And then finally, maybe next time we can have two things on our checklist. Try to get dual wielding, which I probably won't be able to afford, given my alcoholic tendency that's probably still going to continue. And then also try to actually get some of the quests in the crossroads. The problem is I really can't still do that because I don't even have room in my thing for it. Kind of sad that as much as I like permadeaths and hardcore and stuff, and I love mages, I've never actually done a 1 to 60 without dying as a mage. Of course, that was my first main, so I clearly never died while leveling that normally. But of course, I did many times. I at least remember a few early on. Like, I was in Loch Madan swimming in the water, and I got killed by like one of those, whatever, the thresher things. That was either elite or whatever. Like there's one like that in Lakeshire too. That I assume you turn in here. It'd be kind of stupid if you didn't. That's gonna be somewhere else. Ratchet, and that is in Hunger Room. Totem is in the crossroads itself. The level scaling here is a little bit weird, the way it's positioned. Like there's level 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s around there, right as soon as you basically enter. And then it goes down to like level 10 around here. Like it's the way it's positioned is just weird. You could say, oh, that's because it's near Ashenvale, but it's more so like just near where you enter anyway. Where do you turn this in? You almost shouldn't be allowed to use the map and stuff for this. It's going to be one of the guys. Oh, it's going to be this guy, right? Gaz. Where is Gaz? Or no, he's just in the engineering shop altogether. I didn't actually learn anything from them here, though, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know when or if I'll get a pet. Maybe I'll just do the rest of the way without a pet. So that'll be just a meaningful story moment. I don't really know, and I don't want to decide on the moment, but there's no rule that says I can't get another pet. It's just, it wouldn't make sense to do it so quickly. Looks like we're using the telescope backwards to look at them like this. You did good, kid. A little more work like that, and it'll be one less thing I'll have to worry about. Hopefully, they'll be convinced that they should relocate their operation elsewhere. Yeah, which we already know. They have plenty of resources in Boulder Load Mine and Sludge Fan and all this kind of stuff. In the meantime, there is a small matter of getting the goods back they stole from me. The missing shipment. I've been waiting for my last shipment of goods from Booty Bay. I'm pretty sure it must have been stolen by the freebooters, but just to be sure, will you go down the dockside and ask Dizzywig if my goods were already put into my warehouse without my knowledge? Here, take my ledger down to Dizzywig and have him double check my inventory records against his logs. Oh my god. We could make like bandages or something. Or yeah, let's just make the wool bandages now, because that'll dump into our stack that we've been wasting so hard. And because I only had one left too.
Welcome to Ratchet. Hope you're looking for work.
Or he's actually like the boss type enemy that has, he's like Thrall, where he has all these unique lines to do with Ratchet.
Hey there, just passing through. I sure could use your help, kid. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
You gonna get annoyed?
Welcome to Ratchet. Hope you're looking for work.
Oh, I like that. Very specific dialogue that I don't think any random goblin would just have. I never even really noticed that too much with the city leaders, because I would never really pester them too much by clicking on them over and over, but they have some very unique dialogue. Missing shipment. We can check it there. Little conspiracy about stuff being stolen. Or this is like the imagery from the finale of Death Note that was so sort of iconic and maybe some people passed over. Like Light is standing there, right? And you see it like from the other side. Let's see if I can create it with the little hook there. He's standing there in the warehouse, right? As they're having their final confrontation. And then you see his, you see him like this, right? They show the hook like that, like the noose around his neck is closing in. It's such a small, simple thing, but it's pretty good. So they're talking like, what's your plan, Nier? What are we waiting for? I could have had that imagery for our pet last time if I had known that was going to happen.
Yeah, what do you
All
want?
part of the plan.
Be good.
We do have room for it. Oops, had a little mishap. As you can see, the morning cargo shipment from Booty Bay was huge. Huge, I say. I've never seen so many crates. I was trying to expedite things, so I thought I already did this one, though. I was unloading a bit more than I could handle. Then everything came tumbling down. Before I knew what was going on, I saw the menace, Mad Maglish, go running off with a bottle of 99-year-old port. Chased him all the way into the Wailing Caverns. No way I was going in there. Okay, as much as I am eager for these alcohol-related quests, I can't handle doing something there. It's technically not off limits that I would never do it, but like I am allowed to do dungeons, but I have to do them solo. So what good do you think that's really going to do me? Do this for the fishing quest, which I won't even be able to really do here. Kind of one of those things you don't want to just forget about, but I don't really have room for anything. Or maybe if we turn this in, then I'll make room and sell the linen bandages. The missing shipment, Miner's Fortune, I haven't done yet. Where's to send on the next ship? Gazlo's Ledger, or wait, can I actually see Gazlo's Ledger and read it? No. Don't want to miss flavor text in even that capacity. Gazlo sent you, did he? Just a moment, let me look here and check my own logs, which I just magically have in my head, I guess. This is like one of those dinky things you make in The Last of Us. Like, oh, just what a cool moment. Like Joel is like a caveman and he learns to put a nail inside of a stick. It's like some good upgrade tree that you have to do to get to that point. Like you couldn't just do that for common sense. Just a moment, let me look here, check my logs, make sure I didn't have Gazlo's shipment sent to the wrong place. Betty's waiting for those boots from Drizlak. Everything looks square from my records. Go back and tell Gazlo he's out of luck. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the pirates that nabbed his goodies. Nothing else I can do for him. Oh, thought you could tell him that I've got some things from Undermine for him when he has the time to pick them up.
Keep it real.
You have to kind of empty this out, and then I like to fish there, and then we'll go chill in the one house that we kind of found by pushing a little further past the crossroads. We're already like halfway into the Barrens, though, and like I haven't done enough stuff to really get to this point, so I have to make a whole bunch of bandages. I was saving the linen in some kind of weird way for, you know, like, oh, let's make more bombs. In fact, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't have enough
Sure could
copper
use
and
your
stuff
help,
on
kid.
me, at least. Yeah, I'm not even going in first person. I'm just kind of leaning up against that. No dice. Hey, I guess it must have been the freebooters then. Dizzy Wigs on the level. I'm sure he wouldn't cheat me like that. After all, he's on the payroll. Looks like I've got some goods to get back. What do you say? While I'd like to recover all my goods, I'm sure that's not possible. Still, there's a few things that I absolutely must have. As you see, my observatory is ready to go, but I need the smaller of the two lenses. The first arrived by caravan from Duratar, but the second was bound by ship and never arrived. Also, I never got my boot shipment from Drizlik in Booty Bay. Head down. Never got my boot shipment. Head down to the pirate camp and see if you can find them. Retrieve the shipment of goods and the telescope lens for Gazlo and Ratchet. 3 spirit. Okay. So now I should at least have an empty room in my thing. Now, who would logically buy the bandage? Or I don't even need it. Now I just have the empty space because of that. Right, just purely based on whatever. So, yeah, some of these quests I left hanging for that exact reason. They're already sending me to the Wailing Caverns, which isn't a surprise because, you know, I am level 20 and it's very fitting for that. And it's a very hunter-favored place because you get the, what's it called? The Venom Strike, right? So I actually miss it altogether. Which it sometimes still counts, but let's actually see. Not that I even want an oily blackmouth, but we found a school of fish like this in Silverpine, and then there was a son of Aragorn behind me as I was doing it, like creeping up. That could be like a thumbnail I should have used, like a horror imagery of him like putting his what? Oh, because we had the two-hander and stuff. I almost felt like I said I shouldn't be allowed to use the bank here either. Oh my god. Where's the axe, man? Here. Wait, here. Let's just put the linen into like one stack or something, for what it's worth. We had like a moment where we were fishing and so fixated on that. It was like an oily blackmouth school by the mine with all the spiders, by the shore in like North Tide Run, South Tide Run in Silver Pine Forest. And then there's a son of Aragorn behind us that I'm totally oblivious to, and he almost creeps up and he almost aggroes, but I finished fishing just in time, and then I see him after, like, oh shit. He was like creeping up behind me with his arms out, like about to grab my shoulders or whatever in like some sort of horror movie context. That'd be an awesome kind of thumbnail image to make. So would these make actually one stack? Because I'm not actually going to probably sell them. Where do we have it? We have 13, 14, or at least if you get rid of one stack and then you have one stack of that, then I'll be in good shape. Because yeah, I'm taking for granted that I'm dual wielding with the fish. I might even buy like a white axe just from a vendor, even if it's decent, assuming I could even afford it at this point. Yeah, that should be good enough. Right in the center of it too. It doesn't mean it's 100% chance to get one necessarily, I don't think, but it's just yeah, I don't think we ever tried to feed him fish either. Oh, maybe it is. Or yeah, then that kind of consumes it. So that's just like a dynamic moment. But I'm also doing that for like my fishing quest purposes, because I don't really know whether that's going to be one that I've done before or not. I think I've kind of slacked on the fishing aspect. Like the Lushwater Oasis I did just for the sake of it, but that's somebody in the bear. I keep calling it the Barrens and Crossroads interchangeably. That's in the Crossroads. This is in, because yeah, the Barrens itself is like a crossroads. You're obviously connecting so many zones, but it's almost too high north for it to really count, right? Like Camp Tarajo is a little mini crossroads itself. You can go to Dust Wallow, you can go to Mulgore, you can go to Thousand Needles. It's like somewhere right in the middle here. I don't know why I thought the Wailing Caverns was like a little more north than that. You know, it's a dungeon that even when I was playing on the Horde side the first time through playing the game, I didn't even know like it existed. I got to like level 20 something. My first dungeon I did was SFK, which is fitting. You know, you're not going to do anything like Deadmine, so Wailing Caverns is the closest thing, but nobody really liked it. Nobody really wanted to do it. It was kind of out of the way and tedious and just not, it's kind of confusingly put together. So like nobody really liked Wailing Caverns. You could say Deadmines is a little bit confusing like that. It's certainly very elaborate, but way more people like to do Deadmines than that. Or like RFC. I could be wrong in saying SFK was my first dungeon. I could have done, I feel like I didn't though at that point. But no, maybe I did RFC and maybe I did SFK. And that was it on that character. And SFK is pretty badass, actually. So that's the mine. So where is the house that I was just looking at? It's somewhere like on this. That wasn't the one that we saw, right? It was a little outpost with some guards in it. So how could it be that... Oh, it's like more on the southern path. It's on that road. We have that little coal card key, but I haven't found any use for it yet. There's so many still mysteries and little tidbits and stuff to find out and keep yourself in the dark about. And of course, I've forgotten more about this game than most people have ever known. And there are a lot of things I deliberately kept myself in the dark about that I never knew in the first place. I'm certainly no expert on engineering, so there's a lot of fun surprises with that. Like, there is a sense of, I'm like the anti-borrowed knowledge guy. Like, I say that with chess, I say that with everything. You take the fun out of something when you make it about borrowed knowledge, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, that knowledge might be out there. That's like saying, oh, you know, what's the point in learning any new information? Just Google it, because, you know, everything's on Google, so why do you even need to know? There's some fun to be done in just improvising stuff and trying to figure it out for yourself, or sort of the fun of not knowing, right? There's some sort of stigma with that. Like, oh, haha, this guy sucks. He doesn't even know this simple mechanic or how something works. And then meanwhile, wait, where the heck was it? It's somewhere on this path. He doesn't even know the simple mechanic, but there's trial and error. Like, I want to not know, as long as it doesn't get me killed. That's always my standard. Like I do, you know, a lot of first playthrough permadeaths, but I go in completely blind and stuff. So I basically say, as long as it doesn't get me killed, it's fine. If I get stuck or I, trial and error, maybe my build's not the best build, maybe I don't want it to be the best build. You have to have that willingness to be puzzled. It's a good philosophical thing. Like in real life, people are like that. You go back in history, this is why, not to discount or attack anything, but like that's why religions existed in every culture and this and that, all the way halfway around the world, similar belief systems, even if the namesakes and everything's different, because people were unwilling to be puzzled. You'd rather pretend like, oh, an invisible man in the sky did this, or it's explainable because of spirits and astrology and all these kind of things, rather than simply admitting you don't know. Why is that so hard for people to do? Like, they're just ignorant, you don't know anything, and just accept it. But because of their ego, they feel like, oh no, they have to know everything. So in a micro sense, to do with video games, you would say, like, why can't you just go in and be like, half the fun and interest of it is is not knowing what you're doing and trying to figure it out. Knowing is half the battle. Anybody can just beat a game. Anybody can just, look something up and figure it out that way. But it's so much more fun, whether it be a survival game. I always like to do that. Or I like playing Don't Starve like that was such a joy, but I imagine most people don't do that. And you might say, oh, it's too time consuming, but people end up playing these games for hundreds of hours anyway. So it's just a question of what you want to do with that time. He finds my commentary very amusing. See you tomorrow.